American Craftsman podcast is sponsored by Hayflow. Hayflow offers a wide range of products and solutions for the woodworking and furniture-making industries, from hinges and drawer slides to connectors and dowels, sandpaper, wood glue, shop parts, and everything in between. Exclusive product lines such as Lux LED lighting and Slido door hardware ensure that every project you create is built to last. Learn more at hayflow.com. All right.
Here we go.
Intro felt longer than usual there, knowing that the microphones were
on.
We're at full unification. We got a couple guests on the podcast today.
Special guests.
Yeah, I got an idea for the name already. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is, but it won't give away who's here. Well, it might. It's going to hint at it, but
yeah,
it won't be quite so obvious. Got our buddies Corey and Rob here
from CT Woodwork.
Yeah.
Howdy, guys.
What's up? Hello.
We've talked about you guys quite a bit in the past.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ad nauseum, some might say.
so it's good to have you here in person.
Yeah,
it's good to be here.
Yeah,
we appreciate you guys coming out. We've been driving past CT Woodwork headquarters because you're not too far off Sunset Highway, right?
No, maybe,
or Sunrise Highway.
Is that maybe a half a mile off the road?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, not far.
Yeah, so we stop at the that first Long Island rest stop, and then it's like Patchogue. I feel like is like the weird thing about Patchogue is there's like an exit, and then you drive for like a while, and then there's another exit for it.
Yeah.
It's like at what exit 50 some 51?
I'm exit, I think 54 on Hospital Road.
Yeah.
But then, like, there's another one that's like 10 miles or something.
Well, Patchogue's a pretty long town, so there's a couple exits for that town.
Yeah, that's our landmark, is that rest stop. Because we leave the shop around like 4. By the time I hit like the promenade in Brooklyn, I got to pee so bad. And there's nowhere, like, you can't stop anywhere.
No, so we get all the way out there before we stop.
Yeah, it's tough coming up from that way. Especially you guys with the commercial plates and everything. It'd be so much easier if you didn't have the commercial plates.
Yeah. No, you can pull the mic. It's one of those things where like we could probably pull off somewhere in Queens, because there's all kinds of like gas stations and stuff, but we go to the nice Billy Joel.
Yeah, that's our favorite. That's our favorite stop off.
Yeah, and they just redid it. It was a dump for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because it's nice.
Yeah. No, it was just a little shack for the most part until about 10 years ago, Corey?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't what it is now.
No, they have the big whale playground outside and
all the nice, they have like some artifacts or whatever on the inside, little
paraphernalia.
Yeah.
We're there too early for anything to be open though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Taste of New York thing is closed.
Of course.
There's like a vending machine or something, but
yeah, we had a couple of meetings there from the club a couple of times. There's actually a bunch of meeting rooms in there and stuff like that. It's not actually a bad place, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a lot, like I said, it's a lot better than what it used to be.
Yeah, because it's a lot bigger. Like when you drive, when you're leaving, you can see how big the building is, and where we go in, it's just like that front area and that corridor that goes back to the bathroom. On like that left-hand side, it looks like there's a whole big section.
It was just a big truck stop. It was basically just someplace for all the trailers to pull over and sit through the traffic for a long time. That's all it was. And then they actually complained about them building it. The people in the town over there for a while. Yeah, because they knew what it was going to become.
That's the upscale kind of area, all the nice houses and stuff. They don't want to hear the sound. That's why all the big barrier walls are there and everything.
Oh, yeah, there's a real big one right behind it. Yeah, but it's a nice rest stop. I mean, what the hell, people... But you live over there. How are they over here bothering you? Like,
then again, I've heard a lot of people like, why is it in here? It should be further more towards the city. But it could have been that's where the property they could have had, to build it. But.
Yeah.
They just took the property that was already there and just redid it. But if you look on the the westbound side, it's just the big parking lot again for the trucks. It's used up and stuff like that.
It does feel like sort of like a border right there, though, between like Queens and Long Island. Like I know you're out of Queens already, but it becomes more like remote. Yeah, like it feels more like you're at like the beach kind of. When I think of Long Island, I think of like the beach. I know that it's not all beach, but it just feels like you're a little more separated at that point.
Yeah, because at that point, you're just only a couple of exits into Suffolk County
Suffolk County, yeah.
So you're actually out of the whole Queens and Nassau. So you're actually, and Suffolk County is pretty big. People don't realize that it starts there and goes all the way to the end.
Yeah. There's a bunch of like bridges and stuff that you go over and then.
Yeah. And then Patchogue is like, you look at a map of Long Island, it's actually like literally halfway between the city and Montauk. So it's kind of a good halfway point. Because when I teach classes, I get people I've got actually somebody from Montauk and I've gotten somebody from Brooklyn. So it's kind of like convenient to be in the middle. But
that's a good segue. Why don't you tell us about your classes?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I teach woodworking classes at my shop. I got over, I think at this point, like 35, 40 different classes year round. Anything from intro to woodworking classes, learning how to use the machines, to building a Maloof rock or a Rubo workbench. I also do private lessons. I have one lady that comes, Jeannie, she's a good friend of mine. She comes every 2 days a week and we build products together. Then I also got a gym, kind of like a gym membership, called the Member Shop. And I have 3 guys that come and they pay, monthly fee and they just use the shop whenever they can. So it's pretty good. And I'm actually right now the only place in Long Island that's doing it outside of the Brooklyn, New York City, or outside of state area.
Yeah, when we heard that you were on Ethan Abramson's podcast, maybe 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Building a furniture brand with Ethan Abramson. We were shocked to hear that you're the only shop in Long Island.
Only one. So that's why, I'm going to be trying to get more into doing that and promoting that, because it's literally like, like a monopoly.
Yeah. So it sounds like a great second source of income.
Oh, yeah. And what the nice thing about the classes is, like that keepsake box is going to take 4 nights, 2 hours each. No matter what time of the year you do it, how many people in the class versus something custom, you're always estimating that where it's nice,
The old guesstimate.
Yeah. And then as well as, the more people in the class, the more you're making per hour. So, I mean, for example, an intro to woodworking class, a full class with 4 or 5 people, I'm making over $1,000 in 4 hours. Just to show how to use machines.
Rub it in,
Corey. We're glad for you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Damn, Corey.
We've talked about the idea of trying to do classes over the last couple of years. And now with this whole Today's Craftsman thing and the hopes of setting up the old shop into like sort of this studio shop, we've been calling it. I think that'd be like a really cool place to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard in here with, I don't know how you do it with like your own projects are in the way.
It's like sometimes if it's that booked with stuff, it just goes into the corner and then we try to avoid that corner.
Yeah.
We clean up right before the people show up.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, put all this stuff over here because we're going to use this area so they can do this. We can do his classes.
That was like today. John came by. We started shooting a video on, so we put out a video last week about milling rough lumber. And then this is sort of like the continuation. We're making it into some doors. So we set up the shaper with the corrugated knife cutter head. And like we spent the first hour and 15 minutes of the morning just literally moving stuff around the shop because it was a wreck. The shop was a wreck.
We were sweating. I mean, we were working.
Yeah. We filled that entire dumpster. The dumpster was picked up this morning, and then we brought it inside, filled it all the way back up to the top, put it back outside so they can pick it up tomorrow morning.
It's all the stuff you get when you get deliveries that, it's got to be disposed of.
Yeah.
Like the cardboard.
Yeah, I still have styrofoam from the drill press delivery. I forgot to throw it out last week at the house, and I'm like, I guess it's got to go out tomorrow. The garbage to pick it up. I got a new Powermatic drill press floor.
I saw that,
and it came in this giant box with these 2 giant pieces of styrofoam. So I'm like, how do I get rid of it? So luckily, my garbage guys are pretty good. They take just about everything.
That's the way it is in New York. You know?
Even for the shop, whatever I put out, plywood, scraps, whatever it is, they come, they take it.
I bet these guys would take anything.
Oh, yeah.
Especially you grease them a little bit.
Yeah, we got to catch these guys one of these days and give them a card.
Yeah, they come early. We'll have to head them off. Yeah. I was going to say yesterday we put out 6 cans of cardboard. Everything we got was in cardboard on a pallet. So we got the Hayflow, we got another lumber cart, we got the panel painting cart, we got those 2 metal tables, all of which came on a pallet, wrapped in cardboard, and Hayflow, all the Hayflow stuff is coming in cardboard boxes. We got bubble wrap that could last probably 2 lifetimes. Hayflow's packing is serious, and it's that good big bubble wrap.
Yeah. Hey, listeners of the podcast, they'll recognize Corey's name and CT Woodwork, but we have Rob DeMarco here, and people might not be as familiar with Rob, so
he doesn't post enough on social media.
Well, let's get a little intro to Rob DeMarco.
I guess I've been working. I know Corey, I guess, a few years from the woodworking club we both belong to. So we probably know each other 10 years, I guess.
Yeah, about 10 years.
I used to go to the shop because I retired a couple of years ago from my job at Transit. I spent 27 years installing train tracks.
Yeah, and you've got some really great stories which you've shared with us.
Yeah, I got a few.
We might get into that later. That's like a whole episode.
But I used to go to Corey's shop, especially when COVID hit and nobody could really do anything, and he didn't mind me coming out and hanging out and just shooting it and talking and whatnot and stuff like that. And a couple of months ago, we needed some help, and I felt like going back to work, and that's how I wound up working from now. So I'm basically the shop helper. I do a lot of sanding, but that's okay. He's taught me a lot of stuff, and I appreciate that because he helped me build the vanity and the medicine chest I did for my bathroom, which everybody seems to love who sees it. But a lot of that goes to him helping me, guide me into not making a huge mistake and throwing a lot of money in the garbage material.
Yeah, because that was what, walnut and zebra wood?
No, that was all walnut.
All walnut, yeah.
But just the vanity was like almost $800 in material.
Weren't you going to do something with zebra wood?
I did a cabinet for my daughter with zebra wood and the curly maple that Corey got a deal and a half on last year. So that was my daughter's into lizards, and she has a big tank, and she wanted a nice piece of furniture to put the lizard tank on it. So when she liked zebra wood, she wanted the whole thing out of zebra wood, and I said, that's not going to happen. I'm not paying for that. And then Corey got the deal on the curly maple, so I made it out of curly maple, and we made some zebra wood panels out of it, some solid
some accents.
She loves it, and so that's all that really matters. So I have a shop in my 1-car garage. I do a lot of little stuff. I do a lot of turning, as you guys know.
We got some pens. We had a toolbox here that we had like all of our office stuff in. So I don't know where they came out of a drawer into a cardboard box temporarily.
Everything's in one of those bags or boxes.
We got a couple more coming your way up at Make a Camp. I got a whole box of pen blanks from Keith from Blackthorn.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. He tried to give those to us.
Well, I took them because I'm like, he's like, so I bought a whole bunch of kits, so I'll be handing out a bunch of pens up at Make a Camp.
Yes. Those things are really nice. And you're pretty humble as far as your contributions and your abilities.
I guess just because I've been through a lot of stuff through work and just, family stuff, I'm like, you know what? You got to pay it forward. When people do the right thing, I feel you just got to kind of do the right thing back to people. That's my attitude.
Yeah, words to live by.
Yeah. So who wants to tell a story about how we met?
So, we were kind of just talking about it. We had a little get together. Look at that. We got an Etsy sale. 3 years ago, I want to say.
I think 3 years ago was the brewery.
Yeah. So we did an American Craftsman podcast meetup at Belford Brewery, and it was warm out. So I think actually it was hot out.
Yeah, it was hot.
So I think it must have been the summertime. I want to say it was around Labor Day, so it might be like right around 3 years exactly. And I know we had talked a bunch before.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the first time I ever talked to you,
First
Rob.
time, yeah. Because Corey told me about it. He's like, "You want to go take a ride?" And I'm like, "I got nothing to do. Let's go." And that's how we came down here.
Yeah, so Corey and Rob came out. We had I don't know, what do you think, about a dozen people came?
Yeah.
We were completely unsure what to expect, because everybody always is like, "Oh yeah, I'll definitely come," and then whenever you're throwing like a party, you're always nervous, like nobody's gonna show up. But yeah, we had a great time. Another guy from, I think he might have been from Staten Island, Brian was there. Who else?
Wasn't there a guy that did like the theater stuff? I think he was around the city area too.
Theater stuff.
He did
there's some guy who did set design.
Set design, yeah, he was there.
Huh.
And Manny was there.
Jaffet was there. Maybe that's
Jaffet.
Him.
Yeah, that's him.
We did something with him. It went into like MoMA or something.
Yeah.
Or
those.
Yeah, was it MoMA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who else?
Manny was there.
Manny.
Keith was there.
John Peters was there.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's name is escaping me, and I talk to him every day.
I couldn't have named any of those people. I didn't even remember John Peters was there.
Yeah, he came, I think, a little later on.
Yeah, and he kind of was in and out. Yeah, we drank some beer, ate some pizza, hung out. They had some cornhole and stuff outside.
Yeah. I remember coming in and I saw Rob with my shirt on. I'm like, oh, there you go.
Yeah, the one I took from last year's long sleeve, so I couldn't represent today. It was too thick.
Yeah, I've been on my RT mug for about the last 2 weeks or whatever, but I think I'm gonna have to go back to the CT.
Yeah, mine's got some like paint splatter on it. It's definitely been through the war.
Well used, that's all.
Oh yeah.
It's got character now.
Yeah,
I like the grip.
Yeah,
it's got more of like a texture to it. This is like, it's a little slippery.
Smooth, yeah.
This is, I think, is like an epoxy. My wife has done these where you apply the thing and then you put this on like a rotisserie kind of thing, and you put epoxy and it spins as it cures, so it gets like because I can see some little sort of ripples in it and stuff. And there's a hair under the.
Oh, that's a good sign.
Oh, yeah.
Dean was like, "They're not perfect," but I'm like, "Hey, we don't need perfect. We just appreciate the thought."
Exactly.
So was the next time we met in person up at Maker Camp?
Yeah.
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 So that must have been a couple months later.
Yeah.
2021.
And that year we were just attending.
We didn't really know anything, and we just went around and did our stuff.
I remember we got there and we kind of just like set up camp outside of the room. You guys came by, we all just sat, hung out.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah, and since then, it's sort of like we've really become fast old friends.
Oh,
I mean, Maker Camp again, you guys came out again from Long Island to help us move from shop to shop.
Mhm.
That was a blast.
We did take the tour of Corey's This Old Workshop when we were out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, went to, what was the name of that barbecue place?
Barbecue.
Barbecue, yeah. I think
Barbecue.
same thing happened on one episode. We were trying to think of the name. I had to look it up. Yeah, we had that bizarre waitress.
Yeah.
She was very nice, but it was just...
Yeah, a little. Is there a camera filming this?
Yeah.
Somewhere. Catch
just
our
like
reaction.
Are we being punked?
Yeah.
Is this a sting?
Yeah.
But yeah, we got Maker Camp coming up in another 5 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, it's
Time's flying by.
Time
I
flying,
know.
man.
Yeah.
I know.
Gotta get started on my Maker Swap stuff.
Oh, you haven't yet, huh?
I got an idea. I gotta pick up a tool this week that I need to, so I don't hurt myself again turning those. I'm making beer mugs.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
I got to hollow out the inside of it, and I was doing it with a tool, and it was hanging way off the tool rest. And I spoke to one of the guys from the club the other day. He's like, no, they have these other tool rests where it goes in. It's called a box rest.
Mhm.
And it's basically like a rectangular square that goes on the post, and you can kind of hold. So I got that on order. I got to pick it up tomorrow. So hopefully that'll make my life a little easier, a little safer.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's cool.
And they're going to be made out of white oak, but with a stainless steel sleeve so you can pull the sleeve out. So, because I found out epoxy and alcohol don't mix. Alcohol breaks down epoxy.
Yeah.
So
epoxy is doesn't mix with much, does it?
Yeah.
no. So I ordered these 16-ounce sleeves. You can put a nice 16-ounce beer in it, a little white oak mug, and
Yeah, that's cool.
have a couple of cold ones.
That is cool.
It'd be nice.
I saw you at the Timber Inn with some of those 16-ounce PBRs.
Yeah, I love them things, man.
I was going to say, we were telling you guys that Rob and I were heading out to North Carolina in 4 weeks for the Hayfla anniversary event, whatever they're calling it. It's like it's not a weekend. It's a Thursday, Friday thing, but have a bunch of stuff. It's like a mini, like a trade show, basically. Where they'll have like their KBIS booth set up, and then they have 20 other vendors, which probably be like LaMelo, Drawer, Dock. It'll probably be very similar to Oktoberfest, which you guys got to come to Oktoberfest this year.
We're definitely on that.
Yeah.
We're coming.
LaMelo, Drawer, Dock, probably. Who else was there at Oktoberfest?
What's the name of that? Is Drawer Dock the one with the light, with the lock, with the electronic lock?
No. Was that Dialock or something? I think that's called.
I think so, yeah.
Drawer Dock.
Drawer Dock is the outlet's in the drawer.
It's the outlet in the back of the drawer, and it has like that arm. But yeah, they'll have a bunch of different vendors, and there's like a charity golf thing that we're thinking about doing, even though we don't know how to golf.
Will infuriate some folks.
It's all about having fun doing it.
Yeah, tour of the Egger factory where they make the melamine, which hopefully we can get in on because apparently it's all booked up. But we're on the standby list. So somebody out there, if you're listening, don't go. 2 of you, don't go so that Rob and I can go because I'd really like to see that.
Yeah, we love that stuff.
During COVID, Egger opened up a manufacturing facility in North Carolina because they're having a hard time getting the TFL here from Austria, and they make some nice stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff has really come a long way.
Yeah, this is like way nicer than anything on the Wilson Art chain.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they make some really nice textured stuff,
and we're getting a lot more call for that stuff, getting into the commercial
business. You get a lot of laminate, you get solid surfaces and stuff. And I know doing that. I've done that. I did that for 4 years at a shop. I ran a CNC machine. We cut out a lot of melamine and MDF and laminate glue and all that crap. And I don't miss it.
It's a nice escape, for us. Like when we get to do a job like that, that's a little bit, like the requirements are a little bit lower.
It's less exacting.
Yeah,
less exacting, and they usually go quicker.
Yeah, the skill set can be a little bit lower. Like you don't have to be on your game.
You don't have to finish.
Yeah.
I worked in a shop for a while that did a lot of commercial work for like Macy's and Bloomingdale's and stuff like that. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, you say it's good. I'm not going to argue with you. You're the boss.
We were talking to John about it. We had the guy, New Doors. It's a shame I have a sample over there. I'll show you guys because he ships wherever. And we talked about these doors last week or the week before, whatever. We were talking with Chris, and he'll be on the podcast on the 13th with his business partner, who I think is Dan or Dave.
Dan, I think is
Dan.
Yeah.
But we were saying it's like our expectation is up here, and the client's expectation is down here, and why are we killing ourselves to hit this expectation all the time when really, we could do it here and, we're our own worst enemy.
Yeah, because in the end, the client just wants the product that looks good. Mm-hmm. They don't care how it's made.
We talk about like grain matching, where the rails or where the stiles and rails are grain matched, between the door and the drawer. And we have to point it out to clients, and they say, like, I would have never noticed that ever.
No, they just don't care about it. They just want it so the drawer opens nice and smooth, the door closes nice, and it looks okay, and that's it.
Yeah. I'm like, you never would have noticed, like, ever?
No.
Like, man.
Because they don't know the difference.
Yeah.
A lot of clients don't know the difference that, oh, wait, they can actually do something like that where it all matches. Like sometimes when I'll make picture frames, I'll try and get the board long enough so I can go all the way around. So the grain kind of, Doesn't always work because I'm doing a lot of stuff with small stuff, and I just make it do what I got to do. But if somebody wanted me to say, "Hey, look, can you make?" Yeah, I'll buy a board long enough and then just do it.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to do it differently.
And a lot of times, people haven't had anything that had that much care put into it, so they don't even. It's not even in their realm of expectation or knowledge. They don't even realize that those kind of things exist, where the styles go through into the drawer, and the top rail of the door and the bottom rail of the drawer are cut from the same piece, and they go all the way across the cabinet. And when you put it all together, it's not that noticeable. It just looks well composed, but if you're not keyed in on it like we are, like you can't tell that it's one piece,
Only a woodworker will find it out.
Yeah. But there's balance and there's harmony and all those things that maybe they don't know it's there, but I like to think they can feel it.
Yeah.
At least that's what I used to tell myself.
Yeah.
Somehow to massage that extra week I spent on it.
Yeah. We don't really have the luxury anymore. That's the thing. It's like now, our overhead is insane.
Yeah. And it's a different business model. It's a different client actually than the clients that are expecting this other work that we still do. But now we know who the audience is.
Yep.
And so we speak to the audience. It's not just one product for everybody. It's, client specific products.
Yeah. And that's the way you got to kind of look at it. You guys are together 4 or 5 years now working. So you kind of, you figure out where the business goes.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we'll celebrate our 4th anniversary in North Carolina.
Awesome.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And that's what you just have to figure out. What client, wants what product. And that's just, then you take it from there. You can do it this way, but you can also go to the high end when you get that client that wants that expertise, and you can still do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you want us to make the doors, gray match the doors, solid pan. We could do anything you want. What's your budget? That's the question.
That's the question.
Ironically, you say that because somebody saw the vanity on Instagram and asked me about making one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's your budget?
You got 15 grand?
And the girl kept saying, well, just give me a price. I'm like, well, what's your budget? Well, just give me a price. No, I'm not giving you a price. It's just tell me how much money you got to spend because I'm not going to waste my time.
Yeah.
Because
if you don't trust me enough to tell me how much you've allocated for this job, then we can't work together.
No. Exactly. What's your experience with that, Corey?
It's always like that, I try to ask that up front because I don't want to waste my time drawing something up and then changing it and drawing it. And then they say, oh, I don't want to do this. And then, now you get screwed on it. But, it's...
How do you usually vet your customers?
I usually ask right off the front the budget, and then that kind of weans them off if it's not going to work with us. And if it's kind of something, okay, maybe you want this expectation, but you want it for this price, well, we're not going to do that. So we have to either change the wood, materials, the style, the process, how I do it, and I'm always trying to be honest and make things the most efficient way I can. So that way, it works for them. But sometimes it doesn't work that way.
Like that screen you made, that was
that was brutal.
Labor intensive.
If I had a CNC, that would have done it in maybe an hour. All of those panels, it took me 4 hours a panel for the shape origin, doing that by hand. And I had to take a break because, you're leaning over at one point. So now your back's killing you. So now I did it the whole day, 1 day for each one of them.
Ugh.
What about sanding all the edges? And
Rob knows. He sanded and I sanded for days, sanding those edges. And
he saw you coming a mile away. He's like, I got this job. I could really use some help.
Because that's the only thing I thought of when I saw it. Forget about cutting it out.
And it's all hand sanding, other than the face.
The weird thing is, it was bad, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No.
It sanded fairly well.
MDF sanded pretty well.
Sanded pretty well. But when I saw that job, when I went in one day and Corey had cut the first panel out, I was like, all right, I don't know about this thing. And then we went and we installed it in the house it was in.
And it fit to the T.
Perfectly.
It looked nice.
The decor of the house and everything was like, all right, it works in this house.
How'd you finish those with all those exposed MDF edges?
That was actually the Sutherland Wells that I've been using a lot now. And was like the hard oil, I believe. Just rubbed it on. And then obviously the MDF edges really soaked it up. So I kept wiping on. You wipe it off. I think I did 2 coats of sealer, 2 coats of the hard oil, and that was it. And that's the most liked thing on Instagram I have right now. And I'd love to do that again, And now I have a couple friends that have CNCs. I would just, you go take it out and we'll just do the sanding again because I ain't doing that shape origin again.
Yeah, that was a tough one. And then installing it was,
that was a little easy too. Because, it went on stairs to the basement and it had a glass wall on the side of the stairs, but nothing here. So Rob brought his, extendable finger plank and the ladder, and we're doing one of these things over the stairs, and he's holding, and it's going up 8 feet. So I'm trying to stretch my arm on the ladder, trying to pin nail to the ceiling and the trim here, and it wasn't easy, but
it was an interesting install to say the least.
But it like we said, it fit to the T to that house, the style and everything.
Yeah, those are nice people too. They were really
very
cool.
Nice
they
people.
were very appreciative of that piece. That was it was really nice.
And that was just walnut on MDF.
Yeah, it came out really nice and very distinctive too.
Yeah. I like those. We have a job that we're supposed to be putting a price on that we've been kicking that can down the road for a couple weeks now. But they have like a decorative screen wall, they called it. But no, there's no parameters set as to what it may or may not look like.
Well, that's the thing. We decided we were going to start charging for estimates to some folks, especially
so you have to
people that we haven't worked with before,
and then if it's going to take an all day thing to figure everything out, you got it because it's time. You could be building another job in the shop.
Yeah, or the back and forth.
Yeah,
and it's always like it really has to be outside of normal shop hours because we're so busy that like any time not spent 7 to 4 Monday through Friday, like actively building things in the shop is like we need all that time to get the work done.
It's usually Saturday and Sunday morning for me. That's when my head is in the right spot. The house is quiet.
Yeah, like in the morning, I'll like try and like set up our day and stuff like that. And like I did a drawing for Wild Willie this morning, but like I don't have it in me in the morning, or definitely not after work, not a chance after work to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I used to work after dinner on the computer. I can't do it. I'm asleep at 8 o'clock.
I still do that.
I used to.
I'm up. Granted, I'm up till like midnight,
Oh, God.
But I start later than you guys. But I'm on the computer. Some days it's like a long day, go home, do nothing. Sit on the couch, watch a movie or something. But on a good day when you still got energy, I'll be on the computer for 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
I might do a couple things like emails or like, I got to upload the podcast. But like design work, I cannot
I can do that.
Because my brain is like, it's like soup by that point of the day.
Yeah, because you've been, and you have a little kid, your son that you have to deal with also. So it's not like you can spend, and only because I know that fact because I used to work a 60, 70 hour week.
Yeah.
When you have little children, you got to do what you got to do. You got to take time to be with them too.
Yeah, it's hard because you have when I'm working, like I got a short fuse. It's like, leave me alone. I'm trying to do something. and you don't want to be like that to your kids, So
you gotta turn the shop person off and bring home the dad person.
And Jeff's a good dad. Like he took Hunter fishing and
I'm trying.
Nah, you're doing a good job.
You guys have to come upstate one day. Go fishing up there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're not kidding.
My family house up there, we got a pontoon boat, a couple kayaks and stuff, and there's a river there, there's a lake, a couple of stuff. It's a hike about 6 hours up there, but you guys.
Yeah, it's not much further than Pulaski because that's about 5, maybe 4.5, 5.
5
I think.
hours, yeah.
What is it, West New York or?
It's no, Adirondack Park. So you're
that's like northeast.
Exit 31 on the throughway, Utica area.
How far north of Albany? Because it's kind of in that
north of Albany. You have to go from Albany another maybe almost 2 hours west, and then another hour north.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's probably somewhere between Maker Camp and Pulaski.
Yeah,
because Pulaski is north. Well, it's north of Syracuse.
Yeah, we're in the southwest part of the park, so we're right there, pretty much.
That's cool. It doesn't take much to get us interested in little vacation spot.
And the town is a small town. There's a lot of good food, a lot of good things you can do other than just the fishing too. Scenic stuff to do.
We'll get Rob up there too on that trip.
I got no problem with that.
Now the Adirondacks, are those technically the Appalachian Mountains?
No, it's a separate mountain.
Okay.
That's a state park too.
We were talking about this, with like the Catskills, the Adirondacks. You got the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's like, are these all just little sections of the Appalachian Mountains?
That's one mountain.
It's all separate.
And the other thing about that Adirondack Park, I think it's much larger than I think 3 of the large national parks combined.
What's the name of the Adirondack State Park?
Yeah, Adirondack Park. Yeah.
What's the name of the town or the city or whatever?
Old Forge, New York. It's the hopping town, especially in the wintertime. They have a ski,
So like down here?
Yeah, I'm around there. Yeah,
Kildare sounds familiar.
Yeah, I'm way down there.
Now, how did you guys get hooked up?
Well, my best friend, Tim, his family had a house up there since, I think, the 70s or 60s. So, yeah, they have a house in Thundara. That's Old Forge. That's the main town. And then that's the chain of lakes. Those are 7 lakes that are all connected together.
Wow.
But Old Forge, in the wintertime, that's the capital, they say, of New York State for snowmobile season.
Really?
And then in town, there's Macaulay Mountain. That's where 2 Olympic skiers train there, actually.
Wow.
Oh, is that you have that banner?
Yeah, the banner, yeah. I have a banner in my shop from one of the people that does, not from skiing, but I think she does the luge. And then at the Olympics, they had every store had them outside. And I said, I'll buy one and support them. So I have that in my shop. But, the lakes up there are lakes. Like the lake by us in Long Island, Lake Ronkonkoma is the largest lake. It's like a puddle up there,
Yeah, like when you get further north, these lakes that were created by glaciers melting and stuff are insane.
So now if you went down south more like where it says Rome, that's more, I'm in that area right there. Between Rome and Old Forge. Where it says Forestport. That's about where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Pulaski is...
Pulaski, yeah, it's right around that area. Yeah,
yeah,
so
north of Watertown.
you're a little bit higher up, but you're not much.
Look, Philadelphia.
Watertown's a big town, yeah.
Yeah, I've been through Watertown.
I think you go... Oh, no, it must be south of Watertown.
Yeah, south, I think.
Because that's Lake Ontario to the left. There, right?
Sandy Creek. Yep.
There's Pulaski,
right
yeah.
Yeah, so I'll show you where we stayed. Here's our house, right?
There's the Salmon River.
Here's the little point.
Thanks, my brother, if he's been up there fishing. He fly fishes a lot.
This is the house.
Okay. Nice.
Oh, yeah, look at that salmon. They just caught the first salmon like last week or the week before of the season. But yeah, this is a nice spot. There's a set of stairs right here. This is like the pool room, little deck. You walk down and you just right down. Not these steps, but you can walk right down here and get across. This is where Rob fell in, skinned his knee.
I had a bowling ball sized bruise on my shin.
Ouch.
It was scary big.
So, who was it? Adam and I, we were fishing all the way down, not quite to the staircase, all the way down here. We walked all the way to the end of DSR, and then we got a call from Wild Willie. He's like, "We just caught a fish." I'm like, "Where are you?" Joss Hole. So we went all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way to, I think it's right here.
Wow.
So you got your steps in that day.
Oh no, sorry. This is Joss Hole right here.
Yeah,
because that's that little island.
And walking in the trail is one thing. Walking in the river.
Yeah, it's different.
So
a whole different feeling.
Here. We're like, where the hell? Because I had fished DSR probably half a dozen times. I knew some of the spots, but I never went past like this area right here where there's like sort of a big rock wall. I had never gone past that. So we're walking. He's like, "Are you sure? Like we haven't passed it?" I'm like, I don't know. And finally, we saw a sign.
But my brother fly fishes also. He was up in Connecticut, I guess, last summer. He was coming out of the river, and there was a moose, probably about 100 feet from his truck.
You can keep that.
I'm keeping the truck between me and the moose because I will definitely lose.
Yeah,
I'm like, I didn't know Connecticut had moose in the wild like that.
Me either.
I knew like New Hampshire did, but yeah, I didn't think Connecticut.
Up in Maine, they have all the signs like on the side of the road.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's like
they have them by the house by me. I mean, they actually had, I think, 3 or 4 years ago in the local paper. They had the head of the moose swimming across the lake by my house.
Oh, they're big swimmers, right?
Yeah, they're huge. That and black bear, you have a lot.
Oh, yeah. My sister sent me a video from the house because my parents live in Pennsylvania. She had a video the other day of a mother with 3 cubs walking across the front of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Parents' house. Yeah, she's like, I won't be going out for any more walks anymore.
Mother Nature.
Yeah.
When I lived in Brooklyn, I used to think my wife never lets me forget this too. I was going to move out to the country and I was going to grow all my own fruits and vegetables. And she always reminds me of that. I think it's like a little jab of what a urbanite I really am. Because I tried to grow a garden one year and I didn't realize the animals would eat everything.
Yeah, all you're doing is feeding the animals.
That was it.
I caught the bunny one morning. He would come from across the street, my in-laws' house, out from under their shed, hop across the street, and get into the vegetables that my wife planted that we had in these containers out front. And he was eating everything, all the strawberries, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how one of the guys that worked at it, he worked in one of the yards, and he had a garden in the back of the yard, and everybody knew about it, but he grew tomatoes and all that. I'm like, how are you doing that here? He was in the middle of Brooklyn, but this guy had a green thumb. He grew everything, but yeah, he had tomato plants and all this other stuff, all these cucumbers and stuff like that. He's like, I got plenty of time while I'm sitting in the yard waiting for the trucks to come back. All right.
I don't think we had one edible vegetable come out of the garden this year. Like literally.
Yeah, not much.
Maybe like 2 cherry tomatoes.
It's the rain that killed it.
Mm.
We did cucumbers one year, and I didn't know that you had to put the line up so they'd go up the vine.
Yeah.
So they just grew along the ground,
And they're all rotten.
No, we got a couple, but it was just like
yellow
funny.
spots on the bottom.
Yeah, she's like, I'm like, I don't know. What do I know about growing cucumbers? I'm from Brooklyn.
They're like 3 for $1 at the supermarket.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it. The corn 6 for $1 at the height of the season.
Yeah. My wife planted corn. I'm like, what? We can get 12 years of corn.
That's some expensive corn.
Yeah. Oh my God. Because for Mother's Day, I went and I got the pots, I got the manure and the compost and blah blah blah. I'm like in like $300. Then she does all the plants from seeds. She's got like a little greenhouse that she puts on the front porch and plants them in the wintertime. And I'm like, we're not doing this again. I'm like, you could plant flowers next year.
Yeah, that's like the one year we took the kids apple picking out east.
He told us this story.
And I was like, all right, here's a bag for you, here's a bag for you. And they filled the bags up. And, my daughter's eating, she's like 4 or 5 eating the apples, just picking them off the tree, whatever. But now we go to pay. It was like $65 in apples. I'm like, honey, we could have went to the grocery store and bought a bag and been for like $3.
And then you got to drive all the way back out there and home.
Yeah.
And you got to go do the lunch and the whole 9 yards. So
Apple
I'm like,
cider.
We had apples for weeks and my wife couldn't make enough apple pies. I'm like, what are we doing with all these apples? It got to the point we wound up throwing half of them away because they started to go bad.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is crazy. So we learned to put the kids on a limit.
What do you think about that? It's bringing back memories.
Catskill Mountain Thunder motorcycle.
Yeah, there was some kind of motorcycle
Blackthorn
rally.
Resort.
There was a motorcycle rally up there the weekend. I was up there for the timbering.
Oh, yeah.
A small one. And unfortunately, it poured on them.
I think that pool needs to be cleaned out.
I was looking at it. It's very green.
I mean, right? You said the timbering, they were in the pool.
Yeah, they were in the pool. I left the tiki bar that night at like 12:30. People were still in the pool. The tiki bar stays open as long as the pool is open because like whoever's in charge of the tiki bar is in charge of the pool. So it's like, they got to, okay, whatever. But like people were in the pool till like 12 o'clock, 12:30. But first of all, it was like 90 degrees out too.
Yeah.
So, but that was a good weekend. Had a lot of fun that weekend.
Yeah, there's
a lot of good people.
There's your compound.
Yeah, there's our little house right here. We'll have Brian and whomever else from RT next to us this year. He was staying at the Weldon house. I said, listen, we got an extra room. We'll call the Blackthorn and make sure that you can get it.
Yeah, where are you guys bunking this year?
I got the room next to the haunted house.
Oh, nice.
So I'm the closest one to the dining hall.
You're gonna have to save the table.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm back in the same place.
Same
I was
room right there in the V right there in the street. Yeah.
Same place I was in last year, which
Where, over here?
No, the V in the street there. Down. Go down. That one there. Yeah. Isn't it like 2 rooms?
There's a room there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 2 rooms.
2
there.
rooms.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was me and I think the photographer was in the other room.
Oh, Mark Adams.
Mark Adams.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah. But that's where I am.
That's cool.
If I get the same room, there's a hot tub in there, and I'm like, what the?
Yeah, we got the heart-shaped tub.
Yeah.
I'm not turning those jets off. God knows what the hell's in there.
It was funny. I go the first morning we're there. I go in to take a shower and turn the water on in the shower. I'm like, no water coming out. I'm like, not again. There was another valve up by the shower head. You had to turn on also.
Oh my God, like a ball valve.
I was like, you know what? I'm not here for the room. I'm here for the
Oh, this is that new building that they put in. This is a newer Google Maps satellite view. This is like the showers and bathroom. That was nice last year to be able to use the bath. I mean, our room is right here. We just walk and use the bathroom, but they built a bathroom building because they had just like porta-johns the years before. And man, those things got gnarly.
They got nasty
so fast. No lights. I'm in there with a flashlight at night. Like hoping I don't drop my flashlight in the toilet.
Yeah, you're not fishing that out.
And I think Bob said that he went camping and they did all the showers and stuff for the campers too.
Yeah.
They were doing a lot of work when I was up there. Back in, I guess, the area where I stayed the first year. I think they're doing a lot of floors in the bathrooms over because they had all of this new like shower surrounds and stuff like that. They had like 2 trailers.
Where were you? Over here?
I was
in this big tall building.
That was the building where I stayed for the timber in. That's all fairly new. The building to the left.
That one there. That's the one I stayed in too. Yeah, that needed some work, but
that's the building they're working on now. They had 2 trailers outside with all sorts of material in it.
Oh wow! So is this where they're putting the timber thing?
That's where they're supposed to be putting the new barbecue pavilion somewhere. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to because it's on a big incline there. So they were getting somebody to come in and do some stone work to put a base up for them. Austin said so. That's going to go up. But that was done down in the tent right there. Yeah, that's where we did all of that work.
In the Phoenix Bar.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll be there Thursday evening.
You know, that was the only good thing that we went to eat lunch. The bar was about 40 degrees because we were all sweating. You walk in there because first of all, there's nobody in the place. There's only 2 or 3 people sitting there hanging out having a couple of drinks. But that was cool.
Yeah, I got a couple things to remember this year. I got to bring some cash.
Yeah,
because the Phoenix Bar is cash only.
Yes.
And maybe have our orders ready before we speak to anybody at the bar. That way, there's no we don't get any sideways looks like we got last year.
Well, when we went in for the timber inn, because at the timber inn they gave us lunch passes, and that's where we went for lunch. And like 10 of us walked in there, and the girl's like, "Uh-oh." They had to get the cook from upstairs to come downstairs because the cook for the bar wasn't there.
Oh, jeez.
So we were all sitting there like, where's our food? And, you know, we had to wait a little while, but it all worked out. You know, you got to kind of understand that, you know, they weren't expecting all these people to show up.
Yeah.
I could always jump back there. I think I still got it.
Yeah, if you can't make chicken fingers and burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and the next day they told us they were like, could you just do us a favor and kind of split lunches? You know, so we're like, yeah, no problem. And they still had a problem because whoever was supposed to show up didn't show up again. And so they had somebody else cooking. So it just...
How about this? Give us a bag of charcoal and a Weber grill.
Yeah, that's all.
We'll be good. Yeah, when we went last year, it was, you know, there was like a lot of locals there, a lot of bikers. And I don't know, they didn't seem too happy to see all of the makers starting to trickle in. Like maybe they weren't expecting anybody till Friday and it was Thursday. And they were kind of like, oh, these fucking people.
Yeah. Well, they better be ready for this year because I think a lot of people are showing up Thursday night.
Yeah, we were talking about even going Wednesday.
Well, that's the funny thing. When we're sitting there talking,
we're gonna go Monday.
Monday, man.
We're flying from North Carolina
to Albany,
and that's what everybody was saying. We were sitting around like Saturday night because that's when Austin said they were going to start doing the thing on Thursday night. I said, well, you start doing things on Thursday, people just start showing up on Wednesday now.
Yeah, which hey, it's better for them. It's another night they can charge people. Yeah. You know, who cares?
You know,
not like there's much going on there in October anyway.
Yeah, you know, hopefully, you know, we get lucky and the weather is good like it's been the last 2 years.
Yeah,
you know, it was a little cold last year on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Cold. We were
frost on the lawn.
The wind tunnel right here. He said we're going to be in the same tent in the same spot, I believe. So I think we got the whole tent this year.
The whole tent, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I know the CNC guy's not there.
Yeah,
he's not the slab guy.
Router boy.
The router guy.
Yeah, Austin said he backed out at the last minute. He was supposed to come and then
Yeah,
didn't
that
come.
loud thing with all the dust. Oh my God, we're blowing our noses.
I had a sinus infection afterwards. I thought I caught the COVID. It was just
the COVID.
It was just like his, swamp wood that he was routing.
Yeah. I don't know who else is coming up. Is there anybody else doing any kind of woodworking?
That pen turning guy, I'm sure will be there again.
Yeah, but I think
he's in under the saber tooth kind of area. With Pat Lappin,
where they send them off to the soldiers or something.
Yeah.
That's
is that Ed Fireman guy?
Yeah. Tech Ed. Yeah.
What about Andrea?
Andrea doing the scroll sawing.
Yeah, is she coming?
Oh, Adrian.
Adrian. Yeah.
I'm not sure. We were just mentioning that. I haven't spoken to her in a while.
And I think Shaper's probably going to be there.
Yeah.
They'll be there.
They only take a little bit out.
But I think they're under a different tent.
A little tent now? Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a separate one that has maybe Shaper. Is Avid going to be there? Because
I think Avid, they said that.
So Steve Vozdronsky or something.
Yeah, George Von Dreska.
Von Dreska.
Steve Von Drisky.
Yeah, he was there with Shotbot.
Right? Yeah, Shotbot. That's what. Yeah, that's what it is.
But I think Avid's going to be there too.
He kind of big timed me when we were there last year. Kind of blew me off.
That's going to be nice having that whole tent to us.
If that's the way it works out, it'll be good.
Yeah. Well, I got that little floor plan made up, which I think should work out.
Did they
good.
say what Oneida's given us? Like a cyclone or?
I think so. Maybe like one of those.
With a supercell.
Probably a supercell.
Yeah, I mean, the lady that I teach lessons, she's got that, and she loves that thing.
I mean, we're not doing anything super crazy.
No.
I figure we'll bring the KSC 60 because it's got 4 stops. We can set that up with stops for the picture frames.
Yeah.
We'll have the short side on one side, long side on the other. Just put it over, chop, other way, chop.
Then we got the saw stop, the big saw there for the dados. And you said you guys are going to bring the little one for like if we have to rip something.
Yep.
And then it's just sanders, and I'll bring the router table to do rabbits. And then it's just, the pin nail and glue. And
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Unita's going to hook us up with, fingers crossed, 2 sanders. 2
sanders. Please, Unita, bring us 2 sanders.
He says he's going to check and see if they got another one laying around.
Yeah, sure.
Check the stock room.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to figure out what to ask Hafla for.
Sandpaper?
Well, Unita's going to send the sandpaper.
Oh.
Trivia. I'm thinking, Rob, we're going to bring a PA and a microphone. Thinking about getting some buzzers. I think maybe we'll do like 3 people at a time.
Yeah.
And sort of like a
Jeopardy
type of
deal. Like a sudden death kind of thing. Like maybe it starts out with 3 or 4 and then down to 1. And then, the winner gets the prize.
Okay.
We got to stretch those prizes a little bit. I don't know how many
maybe even some tape measures or something from Hafla.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Tape
that's
measures.
a good one. People like a tape measure.
Yeah, they didn't last long last year.
Pencils
they
and
have
stuff.
screwdrivers and stuff.
That'd be cool. Posi drive screwdrivers.
Posi drive, or even just if they have 5-in-1 screwdrivers. I don't know if they do.
Yeah. We're bringing 125 today's Craftsman t-shirts. We can make like little packs,
Yeah.
T-shirt, a tape measure. Montana's going to send some drill bits. We got some stuff from Tools Today. Could be like a tournament of champions.
Yeah.
Where on Saturday or Sunday or whatever, all the winners got to go against each other, and then we got like a big prize for the end.
What's the big prize?
You get to clean up after.
Yeah,
that's
right.
a good
You get
prize.
to sweep up all the dirt from us.
Yeah, they sent like that Amana countersink.
Yeah.
That thing's like $80, I think.
Nice.
Actually,
Nice.
They didn't send that, actually. It's in my drill now. No, it's over there.
I mean, I do use the Mana. This is the carbide tipped one?
Yeah, that has that big stop on it.
No, they have that one too, but I have the carbide tip one. It's like $20 on Amazon. That's the best countersink.
I had that. Is it only 2 cutters, though?
I think 2 cutters, yeah.
Yeah, I had that, and I like the 4 cutter. I've been using a white side. I've used the Fuller. The white side so far has been my favorite.
I've used the full in the past. I didn't really like them.
The Fuller, they always come loose. Like it comes loose off of the bit for some reason.
Yeah.
And then I always strip out the set screws.
And I've been using lately on the job site the Montana one, the flip one.
Yeah.
That one's pretty good.
I can't get in sync with that.
We love Montana, but I'm
It's
not
a
into
little-
that thing.
No.
If I had to like run in somewhere and I wanted to travel light, we have those kits that have like the 5 brad point bits, that flippy driver drill thing.
That's the one I have.
Like, yeah, we keep those in our thing, but we have separate countersinks and drivers. But yeah, it's nice if you have to like run in somewhere.
That's what I was using it for.
in our install box.
Yeah. We got some metric brad point bits from Hayfla. We had to try and hit our $500 free delivery.
I haven't done that yet, but I have a couple jobs that might be going to surpass that easily.
Yeah, shit. We just had one that was over 1,000. We ordered a bunch of stuff for a couple jobs. So we ordered that paint thing, which was like 400, whatever. And then our salesman Rich is like, you need like $60 more to hit the 500. I'm like, all right. I'm like, throw on like the fast cap soft wax kit. He's like, all right, that's only $30. I'm like, give us like 6 glue bottles. All right, what else? I'm like, stretch wrap. We were ordering stretch wrap. That was on there.
That's a good one to have.
And then it was, I found those drill bits. So it's like probably like a 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 millimeter brad point drill bit. So it's like, it can't hurt to have some metric drill bits around. For $20.
I was talking to my guy, Kevin, about maybe doing a hinge boring machine.
Yeah.
Because they was talking to me, they do a payment and split in third.
Is it an Omar?
I don't know if it's Omar or
made by
Sleechy. Yeah, Sleechy. But they do is Hayfla pays for a third, Sleechy a third, then I pay for a third. So that's not bad for a brand new machine from them.
And what is it, like a $4,000 machine?
Yeah, I think a 4.
And how many hinges do you have to order?
I didn't get that far. But yeah. I think he was going to try to work something out that, be a huge help.
Because I like ours, but the fence is only about this big. So I'd like the one that has the long fences. And now that we have...
I have to see, because I know they have the 2 models. They have a smaller one and they have the really big, nice one.
We have, the 23 spindle boring machine now. So we could actually have stops set up where we know that the hinge blade is going to be here, here, and here. And it would make it very easy. At Tom's shop, you had to like put a screwdriver in a hole. You couldn't just put it in like this. You had to put it in and go like this. Yeah. It was like that extra like millimeter offset.
Yeah, it was. I never was successful on that machine. I could never get my head wrapped around
I just measure, and our like center line doesn't even go all the way to the piece. I just kind of eyeball it. There's a decent amount of wiggle room as long as you're within a 16th or so, I think.
The one shop I worked at, he didn't really invest a lot in the business. So, you had machines that were half-assed.
That's good business.
Oh, yeah, that's good. You had a Delta one and, he wouldn't fix the air hose. So it had like 10 rolls of duct tape around the leak in it. And then, the bits would get dull. You would snap the bit. Oh, well, we'll try to make this work. So you would kind of unscrew them and shift them over here to make it work for the hinge thing. It was just like, oh, my God.
What is it with those people?
That's like when I worked for Bobby. He had a chop saw that wouldn't shut off. I'd be sitting there cutting up molding all day long, and like the blade, this thing doesn't shut off, right? You pulled it. Yeah, I got another saw over there. I'm gonna put it in there one of these days. I was there for 3 months. He never changed it. I says, this is an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's crazy. I'm like, you can't. I was working in a vinyl shop. Oh man,
and that's not even a big piece of machinery.
No, it's a $200 saw.
Yeah.
The ironic thing, though, is he had like a picture frame saw where it would cut the 45-degree miners on both sides.
Oh, yeah.
But there was something wrong with that. He didn't want to spend the 2 hours to fix that. I'm like, that would make all of this so much easier, and the miners would be so much better.
Penny smart, dollar dumb.
Yeah, I was like, but he had 2 $50,000 CNC machines because that's where he made his money, cutting out all the parts.
And you have like a miter lock machine too, right?
Yeah. The miter lock machine.
That was all PVC.
All PVC. I hated working with that crap. And it weighed a ton.
You
think MDF is heavy?
Who was it? Was it Brian that was telling us he went to a shop that was...
And it had all the PVC dust?
Yeah.
It could be him.
It could be him because there ain't too many PVC guys on Long Island.
I thought maybe it was Eastern Architectural Millwork, they're in Jersey. But I think he might have said it was Long Island.
Yeah, that's the only guy on Long Island I think that does that.
I think there's one other guy, but he does.
He's the big guy on Long Island that does it all.
He does a ton of work, this guy Bobby. He was in a small shop, not a big shop, so it was very crammed. There was like no place to work half the time.
Was it that blue miter lock machine?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had one at RT when we were there. I wonder what the advantage to that.
The miter? I'm thinking the other one, the Hoffman machine with the bow ties.
No, I use that too.
That's a nice machine.
That's how we put all the moldings together because we would literally glue 3 pieces together and then leave 1 piece off so the contractor could get it around and then put it in, and they would either glue it together or staple it, however they decided to put it on there. But we used that to put the moldings together. But like I'm sitting there looking at this stuff, and he's getting a small fortune for it. I'm like, there's gaps all over this molding because it's not cut right. I'm like, if you put this on my house and I know what people are paying for it, you'd be coming back to redo it.
It's crazy what people get away with.
You know, it was an interesting place to work for the few months I worked. I couldn't deal with the dust. My black interior was turning white on my truck.
Yeah, that's static.
It just can't get it off.
We did something with, actually it was, we built this white melamine. Actually, it was actually high pressure laminate. We built this laminate wall hanging, like 11-foot long, very modern media console thing with a door that dropped down. And we used, this is in the old shop, we used like 2mm white PVC edge banding. And when I was trimming it, I had to go buy Scotch Guard or Static Guard and spray everything down because it was flying and sticking to everything.
Oh, yeah, it sticks to everything. It was terrible. And like he pre-cut all the parts on the CNC. So now you got to clean off the CNC before you put the next piece on it. And we recycled all the material. The company he got the PVC from
Send it back.
We sent it back in these giant, canvas bags. So you're dumping the stuff in there and it's just like you're emptying the dust collector, every other thing, it would be everywhere. And I was meticulous about cleaning up because I didn't just want it, but like, so you're sitting there, you're sweeping all day long. It's just, it was crazy. I hated dealing with that material. It wasn't a bad place to work. It was just the material working with it. It was just terrible.
I did a lot of like beams and stuff outside with that, plowing dados down 18 footers or whatever they came in of AZEC. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's terrible material to work with. And I get it why everybody's using it because you don't have to touch it again. You install it and walk away from it. But
we always painted it, even if it was getting painted white.
Yeah.
How does paint stick to that stuff?
You have to buy a special paint for that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what they use, but yeah, Pasquale was always...
Another one that's like that static is the Corian.
Yeah.
Because I did a lot of, at the shop, we did a lot of Corian work for hospitals and schools. And man, talk about it's heavy. It stinks. The glue stinks.
Yeah.
It's just static. Everything got stuck.
Yeah, that was the worst part of the PVC because you're using like a 2-part epoxy glue that you just kind of squeeze in there, put it, and once you get it together, it ain't coming apart.
Yeah, it's a chemical.
It's a chemical reaction.
Yeah.
That's how I met Tom. Doing a Corian countertop for a photographer. I made them like a little office desk setup, and they wanted a Corian top on it, and I didn't have the mixing gun.
That's the worst $80 you ever spent.
Truer words have never been spoken. Without that, you know what? I have to take it back because I met Tom at the Woodworkers Guild meeting, but I probably never would have thought twice about anything. I don't know how he must have contacted me. But then I thought, oh yeah, because he said, oh, I have that. You can borrow it. Should have known.
Well, all roads led here, so
yeah, that's the way you always have to think about stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like a firm believer in all those things. Like, oh, what if I would have let's just say, what if I would have graduated college when I was 22 instead of this? Like, where would my life have taken me and this and that? And you never know. Like, you could be, I always like to use the story, like, you could be a successful business person or what have you, and then you come home one day and your wife is like sleeping with the pool boy or something. you never know how.
Then you're in jail for murder,
right? Yeah. How life can twist and turn. So you got to be thankful for where you are and figure this is where you're meant to be.
Yeah,
yeah. You say that it's funny because right before I got called to go work for Transit, I worked in a hospital and a bunch of people I know in the X-ray department were like, Rob, why don't you go become an MRI tech? Because back then it was just a tech. It was only like a year and a half's worth of school. So I was like, all right. And the union would have paid for it. And 2 weeks later, though, I got a phone call. I get the thing in the mail and come down for this job. And I went, okay, I'm out of here. Forget MRI school. I'm going to become a track worker.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that. We hinted at it before that we might talk about it, about, what you did with the railroad and, talk about the welding and stuff.
I worked for New York City Transit. I installed, built, maintained, welded train tracks. And Rob, you would know just from living in the city, a lot of that stuff is a little crazy. Most of the work I did was outside, though. I worked nights for the first couple of years. The work in the tunnel is completely different than the work outside. Everything in the tunnel is done by hand. If they're putting track in, it's being taken. When I first started, my first job, we were working on the 7 line in between Queens and Manhattan in what they call a Steinway tube. It was actually built by Steinway Piano 100 years ago so they could transport their pianos from Queens to Manhattan.
Wow.
Transit took it over, but we were literally breaking up the concrete at night. We would do 10, 15 feet of track a night. The guys would come out from the structure department, break up the concrete with jackhammers. We would literally pick it up by hand, put it on a work train. You then had to unload the work train with all the new material that had to come off, put it in, shore the track up. So the train could run a couple hours later. I did this for months.
So you're like removing a section, replacing it?
Yes. You're basically removing the ties, the plates that the rail actually sits on. The rail stays in place. You bust out all the concrete. You clean it all up. You put the new ties back in, put the rail back on them, and you shore everything up with 2x6 shoring so nothing can move so the train can run over it. We probably did about 400 or 500 feet of this for the first 2 months I was there.
How do you get the ties tight up underneath the...
You hold them up. You stick your hand underneath them.
Stick shit underneath of it?
And you stick 2x6 underneath it. So literally by the time we were done taking all
No wonder they got all those derailments.
By the time you take all this concrete out, we had like 500 feet, 600 feet of track. Like that was, they put what they call a slow speed up so the train can only do 10 miles an hour. So it backs traffic up and, it becomes a horror show. Yeah. But then they decide, well, now it's time to pour concrete. Well, you're in the middle of a tube underneath the East River.
Yeah.
They got to pump. Actually, back then, they had these dollies that were run by gas. They'd pour the concrete up up by the station, and then they would like make a daisy chain all the way down.
Like a big hopper full of concrete?
Yeah, a big hopper full of concrete. Probably had like 2 yards of concrete.
Wow.
You dump it in, then they'd go back up, get reloaded, come back down and dump it in.
That goes like between the ties?
Yeah. It goes in between the ties and, fills everything in. So then after that, I went days. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this, whole working nights and the whole 9 yards. And I wound up in what they call the capital end of it, which is the construction end, which is basically where we would go out on a weekend on a Saturday morning. We start at like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. And we would literally change 400 to 500 feet of track in one day.
That's amazing.
40-foot sections with cranes downstairs and upstairs. And so we would go out in the weekend and probably change, 800 feet of track in 2 days.
Now this is to upgrade the track?
This is to upgrade because track normally lasts somewhere between 20 and 25 years because back when I started, they were still using pine ties.
Oh, geez.
Everything is now oak, either oak or what they call an icky, which is an African hardwood. And now they've gone to plastic, like a resin tie. To see, because some of the ties we use are up to 28 feet long. And cutting down trees for 28-foot long ties is getting a little, so they're trying to use resin as a reusable source, instead of keep cutting these trees down. But that's what I did. And then I became a supervisor after 5 years. So then I was in charge of 30 to 40 guys a weekend sometimes. Most of the time it was usually only 5 or 6. Each foreman had their own group of guys that they worked with. And, but I worked all over the city, Brooklyn, Queens. The only place I never worked was Staten Island.
There's trains, but there's...
Yeah, it's a different union, and we didn't have anything to do with them. But my last couple of years, I actually worked downstairs most of the time with what we call the street crane, which is where we unloaded everything and sent all the new stuff up.
When you say downstairs, upstairs, explain what that means.
Downstairs is basically like the support guys. Those are the guys that work on the street. Like I would usually have a crane with me with 5 guys. We would unload all the material, all the equipment that we needed for the weekend. Then there would be guys, because over the years, things have changed. When I first started, there was no safety. They always just cut the stuff out and go. And what I mean by cutting it out, they would literally cut out a 5-foot section of a tie that held the walkway up and let it drop to the street. They still do.
So these are elevated platforms.
These are elevated train tracks. So they literally dropped them in the street. But now there's all sorts of barricades, and, to keep people the netting to keep people from getting hurt. But we still got a guy hurt a couple of years ago, and that's a whole another thing. Guy got into a job site one day on a bicycle, and they were throwing a tire off, and couldn't have been more perfect timing.
Jeez.
Kid got hit. He's paralyzed.
Oh.
Jeez.
Yeah. But yeah, and then there's the guys that work upstairs who actually install and remove the train tracks, and tie everything in and stuff like that. So
that's on like a construction site, call them like the ground crew, like picking up the shingles and throwing them away. Got a guy on the roof ripping everything off.
Yeah, like I had to be a politician, because when you're working downstairs, and there was some jobs I'd roll in, and I got a 200-ton crane. I got 20 pieces of equipment down there and track and all stuff. I'm taking up a whole corner.
Yeah.
From Friday morning until Sunday night. And, you get the neighbors coming out, oh, what are you doing? And they'd complain, no, you're going to leave the place a mess. I'm like, no, we're not. I says, this corner will be cleaner than it's been cleaned since you probably lived here.
The thing that people probably don't know if they haven't lived there, but in New York, the neighborhood that comes out of the house, it's not like...
It's not the suburbs.
Yeah.
It's pushy people. It's forceful people.
Yeah. I had the police called on me by a lady one day, because the way we had the crane set up, we were kind of hitting a tree on her property, which we couldn't avoid. But she was complaining because she couldn't get out of her block and the whole night, so they called the cops, and I'm standing there, I'm talking to a guy, and one of my guys goes, hey, Bobby, I think the police are here for you. I'm like, they taking me away? So they went and talked to the woman, then they come over to me, and I'm talking to them. I'm like, what does she want? It was just the fact that she needed to get in and out of her house, and we had the street blocked off. I says, you need to leave. You tell me. I'll have one of my guys walk up the block, move the barricade. Your family can come down. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you got to be a politician at the time. But we did the job in Williamsburg one time. A guy ran through with a gun, dropped the gun. We had the police. They had to shut the job down, so they could go find the gun. I've got a lot of experiences. Most of them good, but a few bad ones.
Can you tell us any more about the Steinway Tunnel?
The one thing I can tell you about the Steinway Tunnel, it's round. It was actually built with rings where they bolted them together. There is a natural kink in the middle of it because they started at both ends, the Manhattan end and the Queens end. The tube going Queen to Queens actually has a kink in it because when they met, they were off. So there's a kink in that. And my first boss, when he became a boss, went down to go fix it one night and realized he couldn't fix it because the train was going to hit the wall. So they had to put it, they took everything out that they just redid and put it back to where it was. There was a lot of problems in a lot of the tubes, the under river tubes after Sandy, because they all got flooded.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of electrical issues and stuff. The Steinway tube is close to 5,000 feet long.
It's crazy, like to think, a company does that.
Yeah.
That's a different era of commerce.
I'll never forget the first time we were actually down there, and you have to clear up. Most of the time when we worked, we didn't work with train service and we didn't work with the power on, but every once in a while we would. And we had to get out of the way of the train one night. And I'm not a little guy, as you guys know. And the way the tube is, it's round. I literally had to kneel down so I wouldn't get hit by a train.
Oh, God.
So I was like, what am I doing down here? I had a nice job in an office, in a hospital. I was, clean. I'm like, but you learn to deal with things, and I wouldn't give it up. I spent 27 and a half years there. I made a lot of good friends. I was actually just at a barbecue last Friday. Like 200 guys from work showed up.
That's amazing.
It was a good experience. Like I said, a lot of mostly good times. I got a few bad times where stuff happened that I wish didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it was got me to retire at 56, so I couldn't complain.
Yeah, a lot of times those hard working jobs develop good communities.
Yeah, because what happens is on that job, the guy next to you can literally save your life.
Yeah.
So you got to rely on that guy, and you got to, you're always looking out for each other. It becomes a brother. They talk about the brotherhood with the cops and the firemen, and I won't take anything against them. But there's a brotherhood in the track department, from the city where, you work with this. Some of the guys I worked with for 20 years.
Yeah.
So I watched their kids grow up. They watch my kids grow up, so it's definitely a brotherhood, that's for sure. And the night guys, even more so than the day guys, because those guys do everything by hand. They're literally picking up 1,000-pound rails by hand.
That's amazing.
So when you got to get 12, 14 guys to all work at the same time, and when those guys work together and they work together consistently, I was on a job one night, got farmed out to them, and I didn't know anybody. I knew one or two guys. They were like, just stay out of the way. We got this. I'm like, okay. They literally put in about a dozen rails in about an hour, and not one of them spoke. It was all sounds and grunts because everybody knew what it meant. And I was amazed. I was like, just kept going.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. The only thing I could think of is the one time that I was on a crew where we were carrying trees with those, I don't know what they're called, those tongs.
Yeah.
How difficult that was because we didn't really know. We were unfamiliar, and just the steps and who's picking up this and who's picking up that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. When I started, it was 4 weeks of school when I started. It was 2 weeks in a classroom and then it's 2 weeks of on-the-job training. It's just to get used to using the tools and working with other people because like there are ties that the guys in the tunnels use. Like I said, some of them are 24, 28 feet long. And then you put like in a switch area, those ties will be anywhere between 20 to 28 feet long. And then you put 400 to 800 pound rail plates on them that the rail actually sits in. That tie now weighs over 1,000 pounds.
That's amazing.
You got a dozen guys on that thing picking it up to put it in place.
Yeah, it's like you ever try and move a piece of furniture with your wife?
No, because I know I'm going to lose.
Yeah, make you want to scream. Tell us about welding the pieces of track together because you told us about that and that was really cool.
Yeah, I used to do, it's actually called orgothermite welding. We used to call it Butte Welding, which is the company that we used to get the equipment from. Basically what we did on the outside is we would bring out 390-foot sections of rail on a special train. It's called a continuous welded rail. We would put them in, we'd go out and do 8 or 10 of them in a weekend. And then after that, they have to be welded together so you can get rid of the joint so you don't get the clickety-clack. Mm-hmm. So basically what you do with that is you cut a 1-inch gap between the two rails. You then put a mold around it, a ceramic mold with a metal jacket that holds it all in place. Then you take a sand that's kind of like moisture. It's got some moisture to it so you can pack it. You then heat that section of rail up for about 5 or 6 minutes because it's what they call a preheat. And then there's a can. Think of the old genies as a kid. We used to take the firecrackers apart. Mm-hmm. Think of that in a 5-gallon can. It's basically the metal that's in a solid form at that point, in like a pelletized form. You put that over this whole jacket that's, been packed with the sand and the ceramic jackets and stuff. You put that on top, and then this was the only job I got to do when I did this was I get to light the pots every time because I was a supervisor. The guys wouldn't let me do anything else. They're like, you can light it, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, I got to feel like I did something.
You use like a Bic lighter?
No, it's actually like a long sparkler. Uh-huh. That's what it is. And you stick it in, and you sit there and you wait, and this actually ignites the metal inside the thing, and then it pours out in a liquid form, fills the gap in between the two rails. Whatever is left over comes out into like an overflow pan on the jackets. And then you take that off and you throw it someplace, hopefully not near somebody because it's like 2,500 degrees. Oh my God. And then you have to sit and wait a couple of minutes and let it cool down. You take the metal jacket off. You wait a couple more minutes, and then we literally used to cut the ceramic part of it off while it was hot. So you're looking at 2,000 degrees and you're sitting there banging this. We had a pneumatic cutter would cut part of it off, but you're literally knocking the last bit of it off with a hammer and a chisel on a sledgehammer and a chisel on like a hammer handle. You get that as close as you can to the rail, and then the guy comes up and grinds it while it's hot.
Holy crap.
With a big profile grinder. You're doing the top and then you're doing the inside of it. The outside, you don't worry about. The train don't run on the outside. But yeah, so we could do about 1 an hour from start to finish. I would probably do anywhere from 12 to 15 on a weekend day, depending upon how close they were. But I had a crew of guys, I had 8 guys, same guys every week. They knew their routine. I didn't have to tell them anything. It was funny. The 2 guys who used to do my packing, this guy Joe, God rest his soul, he passed away a couple months ago. And this guy Jimmy, they would pack for me. They were really good. But on the first one, they always wanted to make sure it was lined up right. So I'd have to go up and check it on the alignments, make sure everything was square. And, after that one, they'd be like, okay, we're good.
So you got 2 tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Are the welds parallel with one another, or are they staggered?
They're staggered. All joints. So by the code, all the joints are supposed to be staggered. On our regulations, they're 9 feet. Minimum. Supposed to be staggered by 9 feet. You'll see a lot of places where they're not. Where we did all of these, the last batches of welds that I did, we actually took us years to get back out there to actually put the CWR in. So all the joints were boxed for like 5 years.
What's that mean?
It means the joints were right across from each other. Because when you go out and you put them, we just put them in and we kept going for production-wise to get the panels in. So it was years before we got back out there. And then we were sitting there cutting everything in and making everything right. So we had to do it all to all the regulations. So
they're tight to one another before you do the weld. How do you make that cut?
Big 16-inch
like a demo saw.
Yeah. On a guide, you cut it off and you just.
Is it like an abrasive wheel?
Yeah, like a big 16-inch abrasive wheel.
Man, how long does that cut take?
Not long.
Really? Oh, is it a gas saw?
Yes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Wow.
And you think, blades for your tables are expensive? We would go one of those with 1 cut per blade.
Yeah, because we cut some like 1/4 inch by 4, just flat bar on a 14-inch abrasive cutoff saw, and that we got like 4 cuts out of the thing.
Yeah. Some of the superintendents were like, "Oh, you can get 4 or 5 cuts per blade." I'm like, "All right, go ahead. I'll sit here."
Yeah, I'm not doing it. And cut it for 10 minutes.
I'm not cutting it. That guy is, and that guy's back's going to be broken by the time we get to the second.
Yeah, how heavy is the saw?
It's 50 or 60 pounds. Now, granted, it's on an arm that kind of help, but you still got to manhandle this 50-pound.
Yeah, you got to push that into the cut.
So I would just be like, when I knew I was going out and doing them, I need 2 boxes of blades.
Consumables are consumables. That's like on the RT podcast, they were talking about wide belt sanders, and they were saying, some of these places try and run sanding belts for 3 months, and then these other places at every break, so every 2.5 or 3 hours, they're ripping those belts out and putting new belts in. That's the smart way to do it.
That is.
Yeah. But it's just like, when you're in your shop and you're sitting there with your random orbits and you go, all right, I can keep going. And then you finally go, wait, let me put another pad on. And you go, hey, wow, this works a lot better now.
That's when I do those salt boxes, man. 5 salt boxes per disc. I change every 5. Or actually, it was like 6, I think, because, it was the way it worked out with 100 discs.
Yeah, because if you keep going further, the only thing you're doing is aggravating yourself because you're not getting anywhere.
Diminishing return.
Yeah.
So for the 50 cents it costs for or $1, whatever it is.
Exactly.
I mean, I wish in DASA, we've been using in the shop, the sandpaper, they make one that's called the HT line. It's only a 6-inch disc, though. But it's the only disc out there that changes color when it's done. So it's white when you use it. When it turns red, it's done. I've been using it, and it every time it's consistent. It's a hard thing to know when to switch your pad.
Yeah.
But it's
it's even harder. Like for me as a hobby, it's just like, now I got to go buy more. But you get to the point you know what? You just got to go do it.
Yeah. Keep everything in stock.
Exactly. Like, I buy stuff now and I'm like, all right, I'll buy 50. When I buy the sandpaper, I buy 50 of each and they're there. And when I start getting low, I just buy more. And it's just like, it's just part of the expense.
Yeah. If you're out there to enjoy yourself, what are you going to shackle yourself by not having sandpaper?
Exactly. And that's, maybe 20 years ago when, things were a little tighter in the house with 2 little kids running around and, stuff like that. But now, no, I can't be bothered anymore. If I need something, I'm buying it.
That's like the belts for the edge sander. Yeah. Change those, every 50 boxes?
Yeah.
It just takes longer and longer, and the finishes gets worse and worse.
Right. Or start burning even too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the product suffers. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like when you're doing the repetitive sanding, it's much easier to tell when your pad isn't as effective. It's when you have your sander set up on your bench top and you're just
grab it for, odds and ends all the time.
Times a day, yeah.
Then you start using
even only doing 5 boxes. Box 1 and box 5.
Yeah, it's different.
Is a stark difference.
Oh yeah.
And they're just these little boxes.
Yeah, but that's one of the reasons why I upgraded the drill press just recently. Because, I was drilling holes, 6-inch holes in some vases I was making.
Mm-hmm.
I had to raise, the table. And, so I'm like, wait a minute, this is just getting too out of hand.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, did you consider the Nova like we have?
I did. And I was thinking about it.
Because it's about the same price, I think, right?
Well, Woodcraft had a huge sale on that Powermatic. I got that Powermatic for $1,500.
Oh, wow.
With free shipping. So by the time I was done with the tax, it was like $1,600.
Yeah. That's what? Is that over 2,000? That one?
I think it's $2,200.
Oh, wow. That's more than the Nova. We only paid $1,800 for that.
I was thinking about the Nova because I know you guys had it and a couple of guys from the club have it. And they really like it. But when that deal come up for the Powermatic, and I know I've used it at Corey's shop, I'm like,
oh, that's the dream drill press.
It's
that one's got a lot of controls too.
Yeah.
It's just not
big
like
hand crank. You go whatever speed you want. I mean, we put that thing to the test.
Yeah,
Patrick
cutting up, drilling.
One of the guys that is a member of the shop. He was making
flights.
The flights for a restaurant. Making he was drilling, I think, with 500 holes with a 2.5-inch hole. I mean, he got to the point where the belt was getting hot and it popped off, so that we had to put it back together. But it drilled all those holes.
How's Afro Bob doing?
Afro Bob's doing good. He's actually helping me. We're building a green wood shaker.
Yeah, I'm watching
that. That's cool.
So we're at the point. I went to his shop Sunday or Monday night, and we steam bent the back slats because you have to make it so it goes in the holes, but you got to give it a bend. It's all hickory. So we put it in the steam box for like 10, 15 minutes. We put it out. He's like, okay, you got to sit on the chair backwards. I'm going to push. You're going to pull. So I pushed on it, and he pulled, and we got him in there, and we popped it in. And they just sitting there, just with the tension of it, It was a lot of fun, granted, it's a lot of wah, 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 wah. Like, I feel like I'm in the Peanuts, basically. But it's like, okay, I did learn a few good things. Because it's also, I wanted to do it because I had a lot of requests for people to have it as a class.
Yeah.
Like, do you need green wood? I'm like, well, I know nothing about it, but I know 2 people. Another good friend of ours, Justin. He has actually a little timber frame shop in his backyard that he's teaching some classes too. So I want to have between the 2 of them do some green wood classes too, maybe some spoon stuff. But
is Bob coming to Maker Camp?
I think he is.
Cool.
He actually told us that he regrets just sitting there and guarding his tools last time. He said, you paid all this money and you're sitting there guarding this bandsaw. I think it was the planer, the bandsaw.
Yeah, you could leave a block of gold out at Maker Camp. I think
nobody's going to take it. Yeah, I'm like, so he's like, I'm going to come back and I want to do some stuff. Okay.
He's chasing that girl that he met. I like Bob.
You know what I found out?
People.
She works up there locally. She's like went to the bar and she was the one who managed it besides Austin.
Yep.
The whole thing.
Yeah. Bob's good people.
We were joking, we're like, man, we're going to have like a big dinner table this year because there's more people coming than we know.
You're going to take up 2 tables.
We're like, who's going to get bumped? We're like, Afro Bob? No, it's like, I want Bob to be at the table. I just don't want to sit right next to him. Because it'll get you in a side conversation that you can't escape.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bob's not good at letting other people have this floor.
Opinions, too. Big thing with us. With opinions.
Yeah, like he'll come to the shop and he'll be like, so what do you think about this? I'm like, all right, well, this, you give him an answer. I'm just going to do it my way anyway. And
or he comes in and asks, like you said, he's a nice guy, but sometimes he asks, like, what do you think of this? I'm like, on the Greenwood chairs. I don't know. I never built one before. Yeah, so how am I going to know? Oh, maybe you want to read the book? I'm like, no, I don't have time to read the book. Let's just get it done. But
he's good people. He's got a heart of gold, though.
Oh, yeah.
And he's actually...
He's got great stories,
kind of
too.
Like Rob,
he's another worldly guy.
Yeah.
He's been around the block.
He was insurance. He's worked at a lumber yard. He's done all these different jobs.
Yeah,
he's got all those crazy
and he's got an interesting
stories.
Taste on his furniture with the twisted wood.
Yeah. I forget. I was trying to tell somebody about that, and I think I texted you, and I'm like, "You have any pictures of any of Afro Bob's stuff?" Because he you can't find any pictures.
No,
of
he literally backpacks in like Tennessee,
Alabama,
yeah, turkey hunting, and look at that. Cuts it and puts it in his backpack and puts it on his back and goes back to the camp.
And he's got a shed.
Lifetime supply of the stuff. Legit lifetime.
Yeah, he's got more twisted wood than he'll ever use, probably.
And he's a Fela Kuti fan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's why he's Afro Bob.
Yeah, Afro Bob.
He's good people.
Yeah, I like Bob. Who else haven't we seen in a while that's going to be up there? So, I mean, obviously, there's Viz.
Yeah, Bliss.
Yeah, Bliss.
The other two members of the Woodworking Tent Founders Club.
Yes, I saw Viz at Chris's Zep Make Everything at his open house a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was there. He had, I didn't know.
that.
I didn't know. Also, he had Jimmy DeResta at his shop, at Viz's shop at one point.
Oh yeah, I saw that, and I think
Who, Viz?
Rob Rojas.
Rob Rojas and the guy Derek from Malden.
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
there too. They were doing like a side trip. I think they were going to the woodworking show.
Yeah, they went to the woodworking show.
And they stopped
then-
at his shop because they saw his old equipment.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
The Godfather.
Yeah.
You can ask Rob. He's been there.
Into the shop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
At the Timber Inn on Sunday. Sunday was basically a very, really relaxed day. We finished up a couple of things, just test fitted some stuff, and Rob Rojas was there. And Jimmy was there on and off all weekend. He was sitting around talking with people, taking pictures. And Rob Rojas goes to everybody on Sunday morning. Anybody wants to hang out afterwards, we're going up to Jimmy's new house, the cemetery house. I was like, I'll come up. I ain't got no place to be. So we went up there, saw the house. It's old, and you look at this thing and go, how is it still standing?
Is that the thing that they're working on right now?
Yeah,
I've
working
seen
on
it.
that right now.
He just tore half of it apart.
I saw like him and who's the electric guy, Reynolds.
Patrick
Reynolds. I've
Another
seen
good
him
guy.
working
Met
on it.
him.
Yeah, he's good.
So we're sitting up at the house, and we like 20 minutes just sitting there. People are walking through the cemetery, just kind of look at some of the old tombstones. And then Rob goes, "Oh, we're all going back to Jimmy's if you want to come." I'm like, "All right, that's an open invitation. I'm coming." The thing about that is, you watched him build that shop, and so of course you want to go see it. And he had a bunch of projects in there that he had done, that was still sitting there. He was still working on the pool table, so that was there in a couple of pieces.
Oh, I saw some of that. Yeah.
But and he was there. He was just sitting there talking with everybody and stuff like that. Look, Jimmy's just a really humble, great guy.
Yeah.
I look at the fact that he let 20 people, for the most part, he don't know, to his house. No, nobody went in his house, but we all went to his shop, walked around the shop. He was taking pictures with everybody, so he's a great guy, but it was a really cool experience just to see that shop.
He's a cool dude. I've had minimal interactions with him, but like the few that I did have at Maker Camp, it's just very, I don't treat him like he's God, and he doesn't treat you like he's God, which some of these people do.
And that's what I said to Corey one day. I said, we kind of put him on a pedestal, as being YouTube watchers and stuff like that. But he's just a regular guy doing what he enjoys doing, and that's the way he is. He's just a very generous guy, and he'll help anybody. I think if you came to him and said, "Look, I got a problem. Can you help me?" I think he would try and help you.
Yeah. He just like comes up. He's like, "Hey, I heard you guys got a table saw. Can you cut these for me?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's just a regular.
Yeah, he's just a regular guy. He really is. He's just, but he's good people. And I told him I talked to him a little bit before I left. I said, appreciate letting us come up and see the shop and stuff like that. He's like, "Oh, no problem."
He's great. The super fans are that's the weird thing.
Yeah. His house
Fans
is
short for fanatic.
Yeah. Where did they have an altar where they do the blood sacrifices?
I didn't see that. It might be there, but I didn't see it. But and I didn't realize he's got a ton of property up there. Like you only see in his videos that little bit. He's got a lot more property up there than what you see. He's working on another barn and stuff like that. So the blacksmithing, shop and stuff like that. It's all sitting out there hanging out. But he's got an awesome shop. And then it was funny. Rob had asked us, "You guys been down to the other shop, the commercial shop?" I'm like, "No," because he's got like 3 shops up there.
Is that where they do like the ice picks and stuff?
Yeah, I think that's where he's like, "Oh, maybe when you guys come up from Maker Camp, we'll go down there." Okay.
Go.
How far from the Blackthorn? Pretty close, right?
It's 10 minutes. You know where the milk run is?
Yeah.
He's right across the street.
Oh, okay.
He's right across the street.
Nice.
But yeah.
I hope his brother comes up.
Yeah.
John.
That show we saw
We went
was
to his
hysterical.
his
my
comedy.
gosh.
He had one night in Long Island, nonstop laughing. Best time ever.
You know, last year he was a little off his game because he like flew in and then slept in a tent.
And it was freezing out that one night.
Yeah, like 2 years ago he was a riot, but last year I think he was a little bit physically shaken from the sleeping outdoors.
Sleeping outdoors.
He's not like a sleeping outdoors kind of guy.
No, I think he ended up going to Jimmy's another night.
Yeah, he said he froze his freaking ass off.
Yeah.
I ain't a tent guy.
And he's a Californian now too.
Yeah.
You know, so. But he's funny. We sat there for an hour and a half at his show and laughed the whole time.
Where'd he do his gig?
It was at what's the
Governor's?
Governor's Comedy
Governor's
Club.
in Long Island.
I remember seeing ads for it.
Is that Roosevelt Field? Or
No, it's Bohemia by us.
It's Bohemia. There's a couple of them.
There's it's like a chain almost.
Okay.
Yeah, so
and then even
out.
the people before him were good too.
Yeah, they were all good. The pre guys were good. They were pretty funny too. But it was a good night out.
He had his whole family there, the whole table
Yeah.
and stuff. They were all nice, saying hello and everything.
Maker Camp is fun.
Yeah.
You just meet, you know.
I can't wait.
And that's the thing. I think, you know, as I said to Corey, I think everybody kind of checks their ego at the gate.
Oh,
you know, there's no egos there.
No, everybody's the same level.
You know, and the thing is that you can walk up to somebody who, you know, you see on YouTube and go have a conversation with that person, and, or just people that you see on Instagram. You know, it's just it's a cool atmosphere. It really.
I mean,
is.
you got some people that are a little, snobby, but most of them are all nice, genuine people.
Yeah, everybody's. You know, even when I went up, for the timber in, I didn't know most of the people. Keith was there, so I talked with him, and I was talking with Ed.
Vanek.
Joe Vanek was there, who's a guy that we know from Long Island, and Ed Johns was there. You know, so I kind of knew those guys. But like Saturday night, we're all sitting around at the bar, and there's these two knife makers. And I started talking with them, and they're showing me pictures of their stuff. These guys are unbelievable, the stuff that they do. And one guy's like, I've just been doing this a few years. I'm like, okay, but it was just really cool.
Yeah, it's a very low key event.
Yeah,
and I think most people understand is, really what kind of fame is there attached to being on Instagram or YouTube or anything like that. It's pretty minor, so I don't think there's any room for attitudes or anything.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, you can go up there and you can get the person who knows nothing and it's just there. Like the first year we went up, we did the blacksmithing. Mm-hmm. None of us had ever did blacksmithing.
Never
before.
held the hammer before.
I don't know what the heck I was doing.
Yeah.
The guy's like, "Oh yeah, just do this and do that and do this and do this." And I'm like, "Okay, you say so."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had Steve Pellegrino was helping us out, and then that guy Bob.
He knew everything.
Yeah,
he's the one I went with because But anybody you talk to, anything you go and talk to somebody about, they're all very willing to give up information very freely. There's no
Do the welding was fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get to do that last year, but 2 years ago, I actually at the old shop, my cube is there. It's so ugly.
Yes, mine is too. So
I bought one of those rocket stoves from Rich.
We still have the kitchen sitting on the table in my shop. We're like, we're gonna do them one day.
I started welding it here one day. We were slow. I got I'm wearing sneakers. I got a piece of hot metal in my sock. I burnt my foot. I'm burning through the corners with the thing, the wires going in between and sticking to the other side. I'm like, oh my God, I got no idea what I'm doing.
Another class at Maker Camp.
But that's what it's all about. It's just, you go there to try and do things that you don't readily do. Mm-hmm. You're going to, for the most part, suck at it.
Yeah.
But you have a good time.
Yeah, and there's no pressure. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, and there's no pressure to even do anything if you don't feel like it. It's like, you can just hang out if you want.
Exactly.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
And the chocolate pie?
Chocolate pie.
Yeah. That strawberry pie last year, though,
that was pretty impressive.
good.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to be in the mood for this year. We'll see.
I wonder if they're doing a barbecue again this year, right?
Barbecue, but no maker burn.
No burn. Austin told me that the barbecue on Sunday is going to be Sunday's dinner because everybody... We ate so late last year with the barbecue, and then so he said this year the barbecue is going to be Sunday's dinner.
That makes sense.
And then they're doing fireworks instead of maker burn.
No maker burn fireworks.
The barbecue was rough too because we were in the middle doing stuff, and then we had to stop.
That's when we had to do the bench.
Yeah.
So he said instead of trying to deal with all of doing two things, we're just going to do the barbecue. And supposedly, I think they're bringing up a bigger one this year.
Bigger barbecue.
Ooh. Yeah.
The other thing I'm looking forward to is the cereal and whole milk.
Man.
I don't get that at the house.
The little things in life, huh, Rob?
Yeah. I did that. Jeff and I both had our blood work done this past week.
I was just looking at mine before. It's about the same.
I'm a little bit better than last year. So the thing is, my triglycerides are really top notch. But one of my cholesterols that, like, have the HDL and the LDL, I'm not sure which one. But my wife, she went to school. She was a math teacher, but her undergrad degree's in nutrition from like 40 years ago. So
that information's been updated 50 times.
So she always she's not listening, so I can talk about it. So she has to look at it. In fact, it reminded me, she said, I want you to print those out for me.
That's funny.
And test yourself.
I had a couple things that were like high, but they were like 1 point higher than like what the range
Anything
is.
in the red?
Well, they were red, like because they were
minimal.
Yeah. My glucose is always just like a tick high, and I don't eat any sugar, so that's funny.
Yeah.
My creatinine and I forget what the other one was. My LDL was like just a tick high. I don't know if that's a good one or the bad one.
Did you do the thyroid too? The thyroid?
I asked him to. I didn't see it on there, but I didn't want to.
Everything for mine was good.
Yeah.
Again, it's just a little bit of the cholesterol, but that's because I have like ice cream for
Dinner?
Dessert every night.
Look,
Love ice cream.
They say that what you eat has very little to do with your cholesterol.
Yeah.
my wife had an issue, and she still does, but like her cholesterol was through the roof 20 years ago when, they had all the numbers were different and everything. She went on a strict diet, the whole 9 yards, didn't eat anything she wasn't supposed to, exercise. And
did it go up?
It didn't go down as much as they thought it was going to. So they were like,
mostly
it's just got to be
hereditary.
hereditary.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just the way it is. She just keeps an eye on it.
I mean, I eat so much cholesterol because I eat the way I eat. I'm keto for probably, let's say 95% of the year. Cheese, butter, chicken thighs, stuff like that. It's all full of eggs. Yeah. One egg has like 70% of your daily cholesterol. I might eat 4 eggs or 5, 6 eggs. My cholesterol is normal.
It's, and that's just the way it is. It's just, look, I ate bacon, egg, and cheeses every morning for years at work. You went into the deli, give me a bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll and an OJ, and you walked out the door. You start to get a little old and go, wait, maybe I shouldn't be eating this bacon all the time.
The OJ is probably even worse. That's all sugar.
So, and exactly. So you just kind of curtail things. You do things a little differently, but it's just...
it's the aging that changes your metabolism.
Yeah.
I said to the doctor, I said, I feel like I'm having a harder time losing weight than I used to. I said, I don't know if it's just that I'm getting older, or I used to be hypothyroidic, so I had like an underactive thyroid. So I don't know if that came back. That's been gone for probably 10 years, but...
as you get older, your body just changes, and you go. But you got to say to yourself, like, you like eating ice cream. You know what? You're going to deprive yourself for the rest of your life because
No. Ice cream. Hell no.
But that's my point. Like my dad had a heart attack 30 years ago. They told him he wouldn't live 10 years. Well, he's 91 years old now.
Yeah.
But he always watched what he ate after that. But he still enjoyed his cake, his ice cream when he wanted. Every afternoon at 3:00, he has a cup of coffee and a cookie. I'm 91. What are you going to do to me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's his attitude now.
Yeah.
It just, you get to a
That's
point.
healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, being mentally content is just as important as being physically healthy.
Yeah.
If not more so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your mental state
can be manifested in a physical way.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know that firsthand. We were away on vacation a few years ago, and I had a massive panic attack. I thought I was having a heart attack. I wound up in the hospital for 2 days. They did 1 million tests. Like, no, there's nothing wrong with your heart. And I'm like, well, why am I? Came back, saw my doctor. He's like, I had a panic attack.
Psychosomatic.
Yeah.
I went through some similar stuff. I fainted, fell asleep on the couch, woke up, went to take a leak and fainted while I was peeing because I got up, stood up. And then, when you're peeing, you're like sort of blood pressure could drop, like my blood pressure dropped, whatever. Fell, broke the toilet.
Oh, God.
Yeah. My wife claims I had a seizure. which I don't know, thinking back, and my wife. And then, so I went to the emergency room, whatever, everything. They said, it's vasovagal syncope, you just fainted, blah, blah, blah. But then I had all this anxiety about, all this stuff. And I started to get panic attacks. And it manifests physically. You start to feel, you're like, I feel like my heart's like.
Yeah.
But it's crazy.
It's all in your head. But the thing is, unless people have had them and know what it feels like, you can't explain it to somebody else. Mm-hmm. They don't understand. They're like, oh, just, no, you don't understand. Things in your mind will screw with the rest of your body. Bad.
Forget about it. It's not even close.
Yeah. So it's just, but it ruined the vacation. We were down in South Carolina. I'm like, when they're coming home early, I'm like, I'm going to die. I'm going to do this. And it's like 5 years ago, I'm still here.
Yeah. I'm at peace with things as far as longevity goes. I don't plan on dying, but
you're not looking to be a triathlete, though.
Yeah, it's just it's like I've given it a good run. You know what I mean? I don't want to suffer, but
yeah, and that's like what all my friends tell me. Like, oh, well, you got longevity on your side. Look at your parents. I'm like, yeah, okay, but I could walk out the door and get hit by a bus.
That's what.
Yeah.
Slip in the shower.
And that's what my wife used to say to me. Like when I'd go to work, she'd be like, I don't know if you're coming home. Well, I don't know if I'm coming home either, but I can't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Because we've had a couple of instances, but I'm like, I can't look at the fact that, yes, I have a dangerous job and anything can happen, but I can walk out of my house and be hit by a car. So, you put those things behind you.
Even worse, you walk out of your house, get hit by a car, and then you hobble around for 30 more years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you see it all the time. I mean, accidents on the highway, on the roads. There was a ambulance on the corner yesterday. It's a dangerous world out there, not just in here.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing. Like we go into the shops by ourselves or whatever, and you run around. You can get hurt in the shop. You can sit there and by yourself. Then what do you do?
You bleed out.
So
like my thumb.
You and your thumb
on the saw stop. I got the tip of my thumb on the saw stop, and I also didn't realize after I talked to one of the guys in the club that you hit your nail with a saw stop, it reacts differently. You can cut yourself
because it's like
because it's not the same as skin.
Right.
So that's why the tip of my thumb, I lost like 1/8 of an inch to the top of my thumb. I had it bandaged up for about a month too. I still can't feel the top of my thumb now. That's been almost over a year.
Oh yeah, I cut my not at work. It was a home accident, really stupid. But I cut my finger pretty bad. I had to get like 20 some odd stitches in this finger. It took like 2 years for the feeling to come back.
I've got scars that still have no feeling, and they're from like 20 years ago.
Yeah, but that's like the where I cut my hand 2 years ago on the lathe. And every time I put that part of my hand on the tool rest,
feels weird.
Feels weird.
Yeah.
You
get like that phantom sort of feeling where it's like you can feel it, but it feels different than.
I mean, things don't heal up right. Like, did you ever break a collarbone?
Yeah, I did as a kid.
Yeah, I broke mine 3 times.
I feel like that used to be way more common. Like your guys' generation, every kid broke their collarbone.
Yeah.
But like I don't know if I know anybody.
No, not me.
But that doesn't. There's nothing they can do to really set it. So it's like it feels funny. Like when I touch it like this, it makes me tingle.
Yeah. Me and my brother had bunk beds, and we were fighting on the top bunk. He pushed me off the bunk. I landed on my shoulder, broke the collarbone.
Yeah, that's how they usually happen.
And the only way they put like a harness underneath your armpits, and they tie the knots behind your neck. And like I'd go to the doctor once a week, and he just put another knot in that thing, tie it back up. I'm like, my neck is killing me.
Take some Robitussin.
And sleep on your back.
Yeah, I'm like, it was like for 6 weeks. You're in school. I'm in a Catholic school. You can't do anything. Got the white shirt, and it's not sitting right. I'm like, oh, this is terrible. I wanted to kill my brother.
I separated my shoulder a couple years ago, like where the collarbone attaches up here, like it separated a little bit. That was bad. That was really painful.
What did they do for that?
Nothing.
Yeah.
And that I never got it diagnosed, but I'm like 99.9% sure that's what it was.
Yeah. When I worked at the hospital, one of my friends dislocated his shoulder at work one day. I don't know how he did it, but I knew a lot of the orthopedic guys. And they're like, Rob, come here, help us a minute. I'm like, what do you need me for? They put a sheet around my buddy, around his chest. I'm like, we need you to hold the sheet. I didn't know what was going on. And And they yanked his arm and put his arm back in the socket.
Oh my God.
So now my buddy's yelling at me, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. I'm like, I didn't do anything. Oh, they just told me, hold you. Because that's the way they do it. They basically pull it back out and push it back in.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's I've saw it a couple of times. It's a weird looking dislocation because the bone is kind of sticking out your back. It's
Oh man,
it's weird.
The only thing I've done was I dislocated, compound fracture my left elbow
Oh.
the day before school started in 2nd grade.
Oh.
On my bike, car was coming, I swerved and went like that right into the pavement.
Oh.
You know, Dad passed out, and then in the hospital, like, your good friend's gonna have to have surgery. And then it's just like, and then we got the doctor off his yacht because he won the lottery, so he's coming in to do my thing. And then they're using, then they couldn't get my the whole, the apparatus thing in the elevator, so they had to take it apart. So my dad's there unscrewing the apparatus to get in the elevator. Then I got in the room, they had to do it again. And then then I had a stainless steel pin in my arm like this, in for like 3 weeks in the hospital, and they had to cut it. Oh, we don't have any bolt cutters.
What kind of hospital were you at?
So, let's tell the maintenance guy. So the maintenance guy came with his bolt cutters and he cut it. And then that was another 3 weeks.
What country was this?
Long Island.
Yeah,
It reminds me of a trip to like, Honduras or something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I saw some crazy stuff when I worked at the hospital too. That was nuts. Guys with halo traction and bolts sticking out of their legs.
Yeah.
And
I mean, when I got my thumb, there was 3 guys from the meat slicers at the deli.
Oh.
Poor kids there. They must have been like 18, 19 years old.
Yeah, I had a buddy who had his family owned a restaurant. He was grinding meat one day, stuck his fingers in it.
Oh God.
Like took off like half of his fingers.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Boy, what are you doing sticking your fingers in the grinder?
I don't know. That's like you hear about these tree guys. Oh, how do you get caught up in the wood chipper? You're a tree. You're like, what are you doing?
I guess if you do something for a long time, you start to lose respect for it.
Yeah.
That's the one thing, as we all know, never lose respect for the tools.
Well, that's what I used to tell the new guys at work when, we'd get new guys on a job, and I would tell them, don't be afraid of the tool. Respect the tool.
Yeah.
Respect what it can do to you if you don't use it the proper way.
Yeah. I mean, worked in the kitchen with knives and everything like that and hot stuff. So I've always worked in these environments where, you have to kind of,
you got to be aware of your surroundings.
Yes.
All the time.
Yeah.
I even do that with classes. Everybody's afraid of the saw. I said, that's the heart of the shop, but it's also the biggest tool you got to respect the most. If you don't, it's going to come back at you. You're going to get kicked back. You're going to cut yourself. You got to make sure, you be all around it, where everything is.
And being scared is dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous too. Especially that's why I got the saw stop.
Mm-hmm.
Teaching I tell everybody, you're going to do this, at least spend the money on that. Don't go buy a cheap Harbor Freight or something Home Depot, because just in case you don't cut yourself. It's worth it.
That's interesting. How do you approach your beginning classes?
So, I always tell everybody the intro class is the best, because then you go over the different machinery. So that way they get comfortable how to use it. So
what do they do?
So
tell
it's
us
no
what
projects.
they learn.
It's just, depending on how many people in the class, it's 3 to 4 hours long, and we just go from machine. So we start at the joiner, show you how to mill lumber, how to use the proper setup, how to clean it, how to maintain it. Then we go to the planer, then we go to the table saw, then the miter saw, and then so forth, every machine in the shop. Then we go to the hand tools, like the router, we use the biscuit joiner, sometimes the domino if we have time, and then the sanders, and then we go to hand tools, how to use a hand saw, how to use chisels, dovetail saw, hand planes. But it's through the whole process we go, and I show them, and then you have any questions? Oh, no, we'll go to the next saw. I want to use the table saw. Okay, we'll do a little more ripping on the saw and stuff. And then after that, what class do you want to take next? Oh, you can do a joinery class. We'll do box joints, we'll do dovetails, we'll do miters and splines and stuff. Okay, what's next? Well, then you can do a project class where, even a project class, even a beginner could take that, because I go step by step through each project. So, I've had people that never turned a thing on their life on a lathe and came home with a bowl in 3 hours.
It's pretty amazing.
Or a keepsake box. It's 4 nights. They go home with a keepsake, and everybody loves it at home.
Corey's got the patience of a saint.
That's what that's what everybody tells me. That on Instagram.
Patience of a saint.
When it came up, when the lumber thing came up, when I was
and the doors were doing it.
Yeah.
The doors.
The doors.
The stave cores?
Yeah.
Stave core door. Mike, if you listen to this.
We started gluing them up yesterday. Oh my gosh.
I think everybody was like, why are you building them that way?
It's just because he had all the material and it's not worth him, He wanted rift sawn. So the only way to get riffs, you're not going to find rift sawn ash anywhere.
No.
So you're going to have to do 8/4 and rip and flip it and glue it. It's a pain in the ass.
And you'd be lucky. I mean, ash is hard to find.
And then it's also
anyway.
ripping and flipping. And now you got to grain match it and the colors got to match. So this was just, it's a lot of work. But I mean, for somebody I knew, if I had somebody on the street doing it, I said, no way. Let's go to Rift White Oak instead. But it's for him, so.
Where you charge him, $175,000.
That was the conversation we were having yesterday. He said if we did this for somebody else, we'd have to add at least another 2 zeros.
Yeah.
Those are the best jobs, right?
Yeah.
We say, how much am I making on this job? No, just block it out of your minds and move
Just
on.
take the next job so that the coffers don't run empty.
I mean, what is it? Got to be 36 doors and another 9 or 12 fronts?
There was 130 pieces that we made. So if you figure 4 pieces per door, that's
40-something.
40-something doors, drawers, fronts, the whole nine yards.
That's a big kitchen.
And then each of those, figure the style, that has a core, it has 2 face veneers, it has 2 end plugs, and it has 2 side pieces in that one component.
Yeah.
Easiest thing is the panel in the middle. That's just a piece of 1/2-inch rift ash on a plywood. We routed it out in the shaper and put it in.
Yeah, we estimated when we started doing this, it would be like 200 hours. We got to be well
I think
over.
we're close. Maybe we're close to
We're
that.
probably close to that
Getting
now.
close.
But still think about how much more we got to do.
Yeah,
Probably got deep pockets.
We gotta. We're still gluing them up. He's only about a quarter of the way done. Gluing them
Yeah,
up.
I got 9 of them done yesterday.
Then I got to trim them down an eighth.
9 out of the 140?
It's like 35.
Oh,
right?
the-
I think it's a
There was
total.
140 pieces.
I think it's
130
a total
pieces.
of like 46 parts.
Yeah.
And then we got to trim them. Then we got to sand them. Then we got to do the hinge holes. And then we got to spray them.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a job
Better
we've
get
been
that hinge
doing.
boring machine.
We've been doing it on the side and doing this job and then doing that job. And okay, we'll do a couple days in this because it just gets boring as hell.
Yeah, luckily he's not like
Not in a rush.
Not in a rush for it. It's only been 14 years, so what's another 6 months?
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine living without drawer fronts and doors in your kitchen?
It's been, been 2 years for me.
You asked the right person.
I do have some parts in the room over there. I have some cabinets built. I don't know how many doors I have. 8 doors together. They're not fully finished, but
And then he did cool joints. He did actually, I think he did box joints, but they were on an angle on his drawers.
Huh.
All solid wood. He did a good job. I mean, that's what he did. He built that kitchen when I started working for the first shop when I was like 16. It's been a long time ago.
Hey, look, it's just another job. It's just one of those long, tedious jobs. When those things leave the shop, I think we'll have a party.
I haven't even thought about drawer boxes for my kitchen.
New Jersey drawer.
Luckily, I don't need that many. I only need like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
There's only like 6
At
drawers.
that point, it's kind of at that edge where it's worth. You want to go plywood? You want to go solid wood dovetail?
I might
We've been
do like
doing-
cherry dovetails.
Dovetail would be
cool.
nice. Yeah, we've been just doing the pre-finished maple with the pocket screws. And nobody cares anymore about the drawers.
I know.
It's a shame, isn't
It's a
it?
shame. Yeah.
It's just I have the cherry. It's like
Yeah.
And
I'm
that's
gonna buy 6 drawers. It's gonna be like $500.
Yeah, if you already got the material, then it doesn't pay to do it because you already got that expensive. You're gonna have to go buy. Like I lucked out with the vanity. Those guys, I didn't pay for the drawers because they were doing the rest of the work. So it saved me probably a couple $100 for that.
Mm-hmm.
But they were nice. Those drawers were nice.
And they were made on Long Island, supposedly.
Yeah, they're a local guy. So the guys who did my bathroom over, they got me the drawers for the vanity.
Yeah. Another group of good guys.
Yeah, they might actually be at Make It Camp too. I saw them. They had to come to the house because we had a little issue with the tub. It was leaking. But they took care of that. But they might be in the welding tent. Helping Chris Epp out.
Yeah.
Spoke to Chris.
There's Greg from
Greg.
Royal Built that we know. He's really good at welding.
He worked for Long Island Railroad as a welder. So he's pretty good at welding. So I think they might be coming up.
I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine welding every day, all day.
Yeah.
That's my friend Chris from school. He works for a fab company. He does the railings on the Hamptons. He does all that stuff. He's the guy that's going to help me out with that job I'm doing now with the floating shelves. But he's been doing it since high school. He took BOCES. He did everything. You give him any 2 pieces of metal, and you can put it together like we can do woodworking.
Probably a lot of aluminum doing handrails.
There's a lot of handrail, aluminum, stainless steel.
Yeah.
Steel.
That stuff's got to be tough, the aluminum.
But he's a wizard at it. You can give him a drawing in the morning. the end of the day, it's done already.
Like a hot glue gun for metal, they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you got to have the flat tables and the
flat
everything
tables.
the whole.
I mean, the shop he works at, this state of the art, they got the water jet, they got the metal, the plasma table, they got everything you can think of.
I'm bummed that Underground Metalworks closed because I did really want to get down there and take a welding class.
It's the one that Keith went to, right?
Yeah. She decided to retire,
Oh.
and she sold the business to one of like the welders that I guess she would work with sometimes, and it's moving down to like Orlando, Florida.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought about going down there for a class because Keith said it was pretty cool. And I was like, you know.
The place is really cool. I went there for like the open house. Really cool shop.
Yeah, we were actually in the area when he went last year. They had some kind of open house last summer.
Oh, you were in Cape May or something?
I was in Cape
think.
May,
Yeah.
and I was going to drive up, and I'm like, no, it's my anniversary. So my wife's going to kick my ass.
Oh yeah. Even if she says yes, you're going to pay for that later.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That's like with the going to North Carolina, and then we got
Yes.
Maker Camp the next weekend. I'm like, there's going to be some kind of
cost.
You'll be paying
attached.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way it
Yeah,
works.
I was thinking about bringing it up at dinner last night, saying like, thanks, for not, making a
Busting
fuss.
my
But
balls.
I couldn't think of any way to put it.
Yeah.
It was like,
Best to just ignore it.
that's what I figured. I'll just let it ride until she brings it up, and I'll go, oh yeah, here's our tickets, blah blah. She's gonna ask like for my itinerary.
I already sent it to my wife. I'll text you the screenshot now. You can give it to
Yeah,
her.
thank you.
Yeah, that's
I'm like, here's the information just so you have it.
yeah, it's like, and I told the wife, I said, yeah, I'm going to Maker Camp on Thursday, not Friday. Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. Everybody else is going up Thursday, so I'm going up Thursday, not too.
You might have to go Wednesday now. I'm excited for Maker Camp.
Oh man,
Yeah, so am I.
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
can't wait.
And the Hateful thing. It's just like another.
And then when they have usually have Oktoberfest?
Let me see if I have when it was last
November?
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Towards the end of November, I think. Oktoberfest. It was October 28th last year.
Oh, 2 things in 1 month that happens.
Yeah.
Just make
So
sure you
that's
don't
cool.
get off the train this time.
Yeah, I made that mess up.
I forgot about that.
Trying to go to hidden to get over in the back. I get off the train, quick run, and this train starts moving. Like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? So let me go down this. Oh, this one I saw. Oh, it's going the same way. Okay, I'll get on that train. And I'm like, oh shoot, I got this ticket. It's already punched. Am I gonna get kicked off because it's punched? I'm like, okay, all right.
We missed the boat that day.
Yeah, I
We
remember
got
that.
stuck outside in that horrible.
Oh my God.
That
That
horrible
was scary
air.
with the orange. It was like, whoa.
And we're like, they had masks at Hayfla, so we're like, we better get a mask. Then
Yeah,
we're
we
talking about
should've did
the Canadian wildfire smoke that was in New York City. So we walk to the subway with the masks on. We get down the subway. We take them off, because it's like, oh, we're down here in the air.
Yeah, you saw it coming down the steps, all the smoke.
No, we couldn't even see it. But then, we get home and I'm driving home on the radio. They're like, yeah, so they were taking some readings on the street. It was like 400, blah, blah. In the subway, it was 800. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's always worse in the tunnels. It's got no place to go.
Yeah.
That day was supposed to be the worst place in the country to be on that day.
Yeah, like
We were
worst
there.
air quality in the
Yeah,
world.
in the
or
world
something.
was in that exact space.
Yep.
When they came over the loudspeaker, I was like, oh, what's going on? Like, don't open the windows.
Yeah, I was like, what are they talking
Then again, you
about?
look outside and it's like orange.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like, you ever play like the video game Fallout? It's like a post-apocalyptic, like nuclear holocaust.
That's what it was like.
It's
Yeah.
exactly what it was
Exactly.
like.
I'm like, the world's coming to an end. It's crazy. We walked out of it that day. I was like, what the hell happened?
Did they ever put those fires out?
I gotta
I
assume
would
they
say by
did.
now
I would hope so by now.
Yeah.
Now you got fortunately Hawaii now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was bad. I saw a little bit about that. How these electrical lines apparently started it. They got knocked over by a tree or something and started, and the wind was
Yeah.
just so
Yeah.
My
crazy.
aunt used to live. My uncle used. They said because the lines there are so old, they never got replaced.
Never been updated.
So just like they said, a fall from a tree, boom, that's all it started.
Hmm.
Now it's the island. The whole island's gone.
And it looked like the wind was blowing like 50 miles an hour.
Yeah,
or
they
something.
said
like,
they would get 60 to 80 mile an hour winds regularly.
like you can't stop a fire when it's blowing.
No.
no,
50.
not when it's like that.
And it's
no.
all, in a drought too.
Yeah.
So it doesn't help either.
It's when I saw the picture of all the cars on whatever road that was right next to the water, And they were saying all those people just jumped in the water to get away from the fire.
Yeah,
I'm
because
like,
there's nothing left of them. There's literally molten metal on the ground now. That's how hot this
crazy.
fire's got.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's like when you throw a beer bottle into a campfire,
Mhm.
a bonfire.
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of fireworks they're going to have at this.
Knowing Austin, I think it's going to probably, over the top.
They're gonna have,
Yeah.
I don't think
fireworks from us.
I don't think he does anything on the small version.
Yeah, no, I mean, 30-foot, 30-foot tall T-Rex bonfire.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I wonder if it was an idea to have the fireworks, or if maybe they thought there was some danger in doing the bonfire.
Yeah.
No,
I'm sure it's a lot of cleanup, too.
What he kind of said to us, he said to me at when I was up at the Timber Inn, is that a lot of people leave on Sunday and like early Monday morning,
Mhm.
and like his attitude was he doesn't want everybody standing around watching fire because it's cool and everybody feels obliged to sit there and watch the fire. He feels that everybody Sunday night, if they want, should be saying goodbye to everybody who they met and stuff like that. So they're not, so the fireworks would be, a little different than sitting there.
A little more low
Because
key.
you think about it, everybody, you stand there for an hour and a half watching the fire because everybody gets there beforehand and everybody makes their little, whoever's involved makes a little bit of a speech and whatnot. And you stand there and you don't want to walk away because you don't want to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of stands there till it kind of, gets down. And so I think he just thought it would be easy to just do the fireworks and stuff like that. So,
And it creates like this big ring around the
Yeah.
thing. So you're not mingling like you would be. if-
And I think that's more of what he wants. I think he wants people to be able to walk around and say goodbye to people and stuff like that. Because by Monday morning, half the people are gone.
yeah.
We're one of the few people that are still there on Monday morning.
I like to take everything nice and slow.
Slow the next morning.
That's like the Hayfla thing doesn't start till Thursday. Well, we're flying out at like 10 a.m. on Wednesday. I don't want to show up and have to go to something
there.
immediately after getting
You can't
late.
even go to your hotel or
Yeah.
anything. You gotta
Yeah.
go right there. No, it's not worth it.
I don't like to be rushed either. That's like when we used to go to the NASCAR races, up near my mother. Like the first year we went to the race and I was sitting out in the sun drinking, for 6-7 hours. And now I got to drive home. It's Sunday night. I'm like, I ain't doing this again. And I says, we will go home on Monday, nice and relaxed. I can sit, relaxed. No more.
Recover a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we're leaving. What was our flight? Our flight leaving is. Did I just send it to you, Rep?
Yeah.
12:31 on Saturday. So you only have to be the airport's only 20 minutes away from the hotel.
Yeah.
Well, when I went to St. John's, we got at JFK at like 6:00 in the morning. We didn't land back home midnight.
Oh.
That was brutal. So like Friday, I'm like, I'm going to the shop, but I went there until like 1 in the afternoon and then did a few things. I was like, I'm tired. I'm still like getting used to it.
We took the red eye back from Vegas. What was that? An 11 p.m. flight.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brutal.
Sucked.
Hey, do these planes have propellers on them?
No, they're small though. It's a business. Like the first class is only 3. It's 2 and 1. We could still upgrade to first class on the way down there.
Yeah.
That's
Only $90 a seat.
My sister used to fly in a lot of those little planes with all her traveling, all the places
Oh my
she's been.
gosh.
I've been on one like that from Pittsburgh to Philly.
Nice.
Starts with an E. It's like a something 175. Because I saw, United tells you what kind of plane it is. I'm like, I don't recognize it. I'm like, that's not a Boeing or an Airbus.
No.
My sister's
It's
on.
not made in Estonia, is it?
Maybe.
My sister's been on a lot of puddle jumpers in her career,
Oh, God.
flying all over the place. The way what she used to do, crazy.
There's only 4 seats. Like it's 2 and 2 in the back, like where we're sitting.
Mm-hmm.
It's not 3 and 3.
Oh, okay.
So it's small. It's a business, like a business class jet, I think they call it.
Yeah, it's like I got to bring my daughter to the airport tomorrow. She's going to Miami for the weekend for her birthday.
Man, living large.
Yeah, she is, not me.
Wow.
Be 25. I don't know where the hell that went.
Right.
Crazy.
Hunter's going to school next week.
Yeah, Tuesday, kindergarten.
How about that?
It's insane.
Well, I became a grandpa 2 months ago.
Wow.
What are you called? Just grandpa?
I guess so at this point.
They haven't decided.
I haven't decided.
Well, I guess, yeah, the kid doesn't talk yet, so.
Who knows what'll be calling me?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 months ago. They went up to go see my parents this weekend so they could see the baby.
Where are your parents?
In the Poconos.
Oh.
In the Poconos. It took them 6 hours to get home Sunday night.
Oh.
Traffic? Yeah, they got stuck on the George Washington. All sorts of traffic. And then the Cross Island was down to one lane. And my son-in-law and my daughter don't know Queens at all. I'm like, I would have found a million different... They put the GPS in, whatever the GPS says, they go.
That was like us.
But I know just from driving around the city for so long, I know a million different ways to get around things. I'm like, no way, I'm not sitting in this traffic. But 6 hours, I'm like, no.
We just drove through the Poconos.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago going out to RT.
Yeah.
It's a nice drive.
Yeah. I mean, it's always, you picture it as very idyllic when you drive through those places and think, man, this would be nice to live out here. But I'm always kidding myself. I want to be able to go to the store.
It's like
I grew up
when you're
in the
driving on the
city.
Taconic Parkway. But even that going upstate, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my father, when he would go to the store, he always had his list. They'd go to the store every whatever day it was, and because you don't want to forget nothing because it's an hour.
Yeah.
Between a half hour to get there, run to the store, and a half hour to get home. Because they're in the middle of nowhere. Which is what they wanted. But you definitely don't want to forget the quart of milk at the store because you're not going back out for it.
Yeah. What town in the Poconos are they?
They're actually in it's a community called Emerald Lakes Estates, which is in Mount Pocono itself.
Oh, okay.
They're about 5 miles from the racetrack, Pocono Raceway.
That's not too far. I think my aunt has got a house in Albrightsville or something with an A up there. It's not too far from that racetrack as well.
Yeah, they like if you know Tannersville and stuff
Yes,
like that.
yes.
They're a half hour from Tannersville.
Okay.
So
they're in the same general vicinity.
Yeah.
I remember seeing signs for Tannersville when we were just out there.
Yeah.
They made the mistake when they have 4 acres of land because they wanted a big piece of property, but they're on top of the mountain. The weather up there is completely different than 5 miles off the mountain.
Oh wow!
Oh, yeah.
I remember being up there. It'd be like a blizzard, and you drive down the 5 miles down off the mountain into like Tannersville, and it would be raining. So had they realized that when they bought the property, they wouldn't have bought it.
They have somebody that like maintains the property and does like plowing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they got a guy, but it's got to be over 4 inches. I won't come unless it's at least 4 inches. So my father would go out there at 90 years old with the snowblower.
I wonder why. It's like, hey, you're gonna get paid. Who the hell cares how much snow there is?
I guess
He's got to hit other.
Yeah, and I would venture to say that he's got commercial places he's got to go to, so that's more important. But but there'll be no more of that. We'll be paying somebody to do it now. That ain't going out there anymore.
Yeah. Was this like a summer place that they decided to move full time to?
It was a weekend place. They had it built. They had it built 35 years ago. They knew it was eventually going to be the retirement home, but for 10 years, it was the weekend place. They went up every weekend because they went from Brooklyn to Jersey. They moved to Kearny, New Jersey. Because my parents were both still working in Manhattan. It was an easy commute. And then when my dad retired, they moved up there up to Pennsylvania full time. And then my mother commuted by bus to Manhattan for 5 years.
From the Poconos?
From the Poconos.
Yeah.
My mother was on like a 5 o'clock bus every morning.
I knew a bunch of electricians that used to drive in from the Poconos. Yeah. And because like there was this certain period of time where they were pitching that whole commute from the Poconos thing.
It is a big thing still.
And they were saying, oh, we're going to build a high-speed rail and la, la, la. But
they've been building
obviously...
They've been building that high-speed rail since my father bought his house 35 years ago.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
Well, people want the cheap Pennsylvania taxes and everything.
But they're not so cheap anymore.
Yeah.
My parents' taxes are probably up to about $5,000 a year. Because of the piece of property, which is still cheaper than Long Island and Jersey, of course.
I pay more than that. I got some little shit box.
Yeah, so do I. But guys that I worked with used to commute every day from up there. And a couple of guys, I'm like, they're like, what do you do on the weekend when we're working 60 hours? So I stay at my buddy's place or I stay at my sister's place. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
Because for a very short minute, my wife and I thought about moving up there when we started looking for houses, when we knew we were going to leave Queens. And I said, I'm not doing this commute. I said, I got to work 20 more years. Not going to happen. So that that conversation ended quick.
Yeah, you might as well just add 30 hours to your work week.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. And it was bad enough from where I lived to get to like most of the places I worked was at least an hour in the morning and an hour and a half to get home in the afternoon. So I was spending, like I had to be at work at 8. I was leaving my house at 6:15. Because if you ever run into a traffic, some kind of issue with traffic, and then when I went to the shop, when I started to work there, my hours were 6 to 2. I'm like, 2 o'clock, I'll beat the rush. No. Guys are like, you're not beating the rush, Rob. I'm like, what are you talking about? The rush hour starts at 12 o'clock now on the Belt Parkway. I'm like, all right, so I'll just stay late. So then you work till 6 o'clock and I'm getting home at 8 o'clock. My wife's like, I thought you were going to come home early.
Yeah.
I am early. I think I got about 2 hours commuting for the entire week.
Yeah.
10 minutes here.
Not even.
10 minutes here, 10 minutes back. 100
Same here.
minutes.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Oh. What about you, Corey? Have you always lived in
I've
that
always
area?
lived in my home. My parents since I was 5 or 6, and I lived the town over in Holbrook. So yeah, I would say my whole life.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, whole life I've been in Patchogue, and my commute. I don't know. My commute is I think less than 3 miles. It tells me on my phone every morning. Oh, it's going to be 8 minutes today, not 11 minutes today.
Where'd you go to high school?
Patchogue, Medford High School, the Raiders. We were actually not in a good way, but we were on international news we were on international news because a couple of the kids in my class found out that they went around and beat up Mexican people and beat them to hell, and then they actually killed this one guy.
You mean in hate crimes?
Yeah, like hate crime stuff. And we found out it was the kids in my graduating class, and one kid actually, I forget his name, but he's in the big house up in New York
Holy
because
cow.
of that. And they found out afterwards they would do it regularly. They'd go around and just beat up people. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So that made our school go way down, low, but it didn't going back up. But it's not the same school that it was before.
Is there a lot of that out there where you guys live?
In certain areas, I would think.
I mean, Jeannie that comes with lessons for me. She's a retired Suffolk County cop. She can tell you all those stories. Because she actually did the area that Robert's Plywood I picked the wood up from. That was her area. So she tells you, don't go there, and everything. So
there's a lot of gang activity on the railroad that people don't realize.
Yeah, I didn't realize either.
MS-13 is a big one.
Now, what is that attributed to? Is it drugs out there?
Drugs, big time.
Yeah.
I know when we were younger, you wouldn't go on a Saturday or Sunday night in the mall because if you were wearing red, they would go after you. If you would wear blue, you would go after you, kind of stuff. Yeah,
the whole Bloods and the Crips thing.
Man, you don't even think about it. Long Island.
Even the real nice rich towns with all the fancy schools, they have drug problems too.
Well, it's as my friend who was a cop in the city used to say, 50% of the drugs are in the city, the other 50% are in the suburbs. Rich kids can afford to buy drugs.
Yeah. And they're usually like a little, well, I guess you could say on both ends of the spectrum, they're a little less supervised, Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunately, like the neighborhood I live in is working class guys like me, but then you go down by the water and you got, multimillionaires.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing by you and Patchogue.
Patchogue, you go to Bellport, and that's where all the movie stars live.
So now you get all of these kids mixed into high school, and it's just, my daughters were like, well, when am I getting a Porsche, to drive? I'm like, never.
When you save up and buy one.
It's
similar here. It's kind of town by town, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Middletown has some really, really expensive houses, like on the Navesink River Road. And then, you have like North Middletown, which is like Keensburg, a lot of lower income people.
Yeah. You get your Avenue, you get your Hamptons, obviously, everybody knows about. But then you got the North Shore.
The North Shore.
Where yesterday I went to look at a job in Bayville, and this house was an old brick house, and it have to build 5 fireplaces. Each bedroom has one, 6-foot by 12-foot walnut countertop.
Oh, good luck with that.
I was thinking of you guys. I'm like, I gotta pick your guys' brains on that. But huge house. I mean, and just massive, man.
Getting the material that long and that clear is the hardest part. And then matching it up.
So my idea was to get it from the guy in Pennsylvania I get wood from and just double the board footage and just so I can really pick out the boards. Otherwise, our friend, buddy Harry, Urban Specialty Woods, I was talking to him the same day. He actually has 22-foot-long walnut slabs.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just do that. It sucks that it's 12 foot, so now you have a 10-foot chunk left.
Mm-hmm.
They pay for it. You know, hey, you want a dining table? I'll make you a dining table. Or I'm going to keep it. You know?
Are those things dry, though, yet, Corey?
I think they're dry. Yeah.
Just would hate to have to pick those things up.
Because that's I'm talking to Harry, because the lady that you guys know from Instagram, the logs that we just delivered, to the lumber we delivered to the kiln, the lady has another part of the tree that came down. So Harry picked it up, and he's going to be milling it down, and then I got to bring it to my shop, and it's going to sit outside for a year. And it's going to go to the kiln again, you know, to make some furniture. And the furniture she just has me to make, I'm using half of what the first batch is. So I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with all this extra wood. And it's all beech, so it's not like white oak or walnut. It's some of the boards we saw, there's some cool ones, but a lot of it's just
it's bad.
Blah, like you would secondary wood you would use
good for drawer
drawers
boxes.
or something. Yeah. But
American beech is very prone to movement, from what I understand too.
Yeah, I know,
some of that stuff was wonky when we looked at it.
Using a lot of epoxy.
Yeah. Oh God.
Filling voids and stuff, and then some of it was just punky with termites got to and stuff. But this is what
we
it
threw
is.
a couple of boards out already.
Out there were just shot, firewood, and then she gave us cookies. I'm like, I just put them put them up in the loft in the shed in the shop and just let them dry there.
See the halo?
Wood cookies. I thought you meant like chocolate chip.
No, wood cookies. They're all cracked and everything. It's like, what are you gonna do with them?
They're
firewood.
useless.
Yeah.
Big coasters.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, you know, easiest thing, weddings. Put a flower pot and you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it natural.
Yeah, don't even put finish on it.
No. It's got a wax finish on it already.
Yeah.
Got some arbor seal on it.
Anchor seal. Yeah. We used to use that stuff on ePay.
6 foot wide. Ours was like 5 foot.
So I'm like,
the countertop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
no, not even. Wasn't
it
it
was
like
long,
47?
right?
Yeah, finished. I mean, unfinished, it was like 5.
No, this is between the posts on each corner is 12 foot 1 inches. I guess I'm like, I got to use breadboards. I'm like, a 6 foot by 12 foot top. How the hell do you move that?
Finishing it sucks.
And finishing's going to suck. I'm like, well, if I make it, don't skip the breadboards and make 2 3-footers. If I get wood that long and just glue it and seam it there together, but I don't know. It's not going to be an easy one. It ain't going to be light either.
It's gonna be like the Sapili bar top we did.
Yeah.
That monster.
And what's the thickness?
Standard thickness, I guess.
Inch and a quarter, inch and a half.
Half quarter, yeah.
We got away with just an inch.
Maybe if I can go that route.
Yeah. It's more, just tell them it's more modern.
Yeah. Or the what was the Sapili table we did.
Oh,
that was heavy as hell.
With the tusk
tenon on the end. Yeah, that was heavy.
Yeah,
we did a lot of dining tables the first half of the year. We did 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
We haven't built one.
No.
Since we started the business.
I built a couple a long time ago. Actually, 2 for the same client.
Yeah, that was the one client I did with the Maloof chairs.
Chairs. Yeah,
did
the 2
a dining table for the side of the kitchen and the main one with the leaves, and then I did the 12 chairs. And the lady that's got the beach, I'm making 6 of them for her out of that.
Jeez. I feel like the tables that get brought to us are always extremely complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And we price ourselves out of it because they don't understand.
Most of them are just the shaker style tapered legs, simple.
Yeah, easy.
I mean, the walnut one was a little complicated. That's the one at the draw leaf table where the leaves store underneath the table. But I have it all figured out now in my head and the drawings. So now you want it this long or this wide, I can just adjust it in CAD.
Yeah, but all the other tables we did were fairly easy.
Easy,
They weren't nothing too crazy.
I built one with one of those butterfly leaves.
Oh, that comes in, yeah.
It opens up. It was like...
Everybody always wants a leaf on the tables that we get too. It's like just add like 25% to the cost of the table.
And then you turn the legs on that one in the city
for the
that we
one,
did.
for the city one,
They came out really cool. That was a really like thin looking kind of table. Had ash. Did a lot of ash tables.
Yeah. I wasn't too keen on that table until it went to that where it was going. It was a really big table and just odd looking.
But it fit that industrial feel in that apartment. City.
In Lower Manhattan, it was just like an industrial type of an apartment, with the exposed brick and everything.
Yeah.
It fit. That was my first venture at doing tape and turned legs.
We got a little coffee table to do for somebody, and then some other jobs.
We used to call those lofts.
That's basically what this was.
It was a loft.
Was a loft.
They converted into an apartment.
Yeah, with like 15-foot ceilings.
We got lucky. We got pulled into the blocking for the blockade in the street. We just pulled right behind it. Nobody knew we were there.
Oh yeah,
this is like what people.
Whoa!
They want like
crap. Jesus.
So it's like 14 feet long or something.
Wow. What is it, like a 4x4?
150 inches long.
Holy crap.
And
look at that base.
Yeah, rounded edges.
And 5 feet wide. In 3 sections, they want to be able to separate it, but they want to be able to put it together, and it's seamless. So devise these like little kind of connectors. Yeah. You know, these are like half laps.
There.
They wanted some kind of thing like this.
There. Oh man, that's a lot of work.
It's a cool design, though.
Cool design, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they didn't get back to us after we sent this over with the price. And then they were the ones who spurred this charging for estimates thing because they sent over 2 more jobs, and I'm like, I think we got to start charging.
I think so. I got to start doing that because everybody's like, do it. I'm like, that's a big turnoff. But then again, the people that are going to go for it are the people you want to keep doing business with.
No, but wouldn't you use that fee and then just like if you do the job, you put that fee towards the job money?
Deducting it from like the total
on paper.
Okay.
Of course we will.
Yeah.
We certainly won't add another additional $500, just like the Black Friday sales.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
That's what I always love when you go, oh, well, we're going to deduct the price. Yeah, no, you're not. You're lying. Stop.
Because, I mean, now, like, we're not getting paid for that time. We try and tack on a couple design hours.
Yeah,
but it's not always
the whole thing.
Not always part of the, you can't always fit it in.
The design hours that I put into the estimate are always the post we got the job design hours because there's all that work that goes into it even after you get paid for the job.
Yeah. You don't realize how much work goes in behind the scenes before you even start the project.
This is what we're building next.
Yeah.
Wow. Part of.
I got to do one like that too, a 4-locker.
That's what those doors are for.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
This guy's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's a piece of work.
His wife.
He's like, my wife likes all these different things that she finds on Pinterest. He's like, can you just like combine them all together?
Yeah.
She like the ex-mullions.
And that's exactly what, we said to each other, it's like, let's not fight it. Let's not swim against the current. Let's do exactly what they want.
And go with it. And here's the price.
She wanted the vertical nickel gap back. She wanted these curved dividers, the X-mullions. Okay.
All right.
It doesn't pay to fight it. Just,
Yeah. No. Oh, you guys saw those doors. They're out there. They're Meridian.
I think that's another thing I got to do is start outsourcing the doors.
$800 we paid for those doors.
Sometimes, a shaker door is one thing, but like that or more complicated, just outsource.
Yeah, that's the whole new way of thinking about earning a living. Not on every job, just on the appropriate jobs.
Appropriate jobs. A small job, I'll do the whole thing. If it's large,
and we know that the client doesn't give 2 shits whether you built the door or some Amish dude in Lancaster built it.
Because when it's all done, it's painted that white color, and who cares who made it?
Exactly. They know. As I said before, they don't care how it was built as long as it looks nice when you put it in their house.
It functions right. That's it.
Exactly.
And to be honest, they're better at building doors than we are. That's what they're set up to do.
That's what they do. Yeah.
They build doors all day, every day.
Yeah.
My brother worked at a shop in Minnesota. That's what he did all day long. He built cabinet doors.
Mm-hmm.
The shop was set up. His part of the shop was set up to do that. He just
got those big clamps that come down. Everything's square.
They got straight plane from RT.
Probably
all that lumber at that point.
They knew Meridian. Yeah, they said that they knew him. Conestoga, like they said, Conestoga.
Yeah. What's the one? Wallscraft. That's another big one.
They're in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Our Meridian salesman brings baked goods over.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah. I wonder if he goes all the way out to you guys.
Island? Hey, you never know.
Maybe.
I don't know. I keep bringing cookies to Matt.
Yeah. If everybody knows, Rob used to work at Roberts, where I get supplies from for a little bit too. That was an adventure working there.
I enjoyed working there. If I I could have had a normal hour of going home. It would have been fine, but never knowing when I was going home.
And the reason because of that is because they got taken over by, it used to be a family-owned business. They got a big corporation bought them, but they just changed the company so much. They're so overwhelmed. They have a night shift that works there, literally.
Yeah.
Wow. What, loading the trucks?
Loading the trucks and everything. They're that busy.
The night guys pull the rest of the orders and load all the trucks.
How many
That's like
trucks do they have?
Fez.
They have 8.
8 trucks that go Connecticut, upstate, down a little bit here too. Because I asked them about you guys. They're like, yeah, you're for Corey. Go out there. Don't worry.
Oh, we got Fez, baby.
But everything.
Fez is free delivery Monday, Wednesday, Friday, no matter what. You could order one hinge plate.
And they drive that truck.
Free delivery.
Yeah, right.
And again, Roberts is down the street. I just go there.
And
I like to buy there anyway.
With a driver like Joe, we can't possibly change. We told you we'd give you a shout out, Joe.
Yeah.
And there you go. Excellent segue.
Yeah. No, Joe's great. That
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
we're huge proponents of the relationship. That could be a. Damn, you feel that seam? Who the hell made this table?
Damn, who did it? Not me.
That stuck out like a sore thumb.
That's just growing pains there from the humidity.
But yeah, like the relationship, we like the driver of our plywood supplier. That's huge.
Yeah, that's
some
huge.
people think that's insignificant.
That's me and Roberts with Matt doing the lumber.
Yeah.
I can message him on Facebook because we're friends on Facebook. Oh, I need 100 board feet of this. What's the price? He'll get right back to me. He knows exactly what I want, and he treats me fairly.
Yeah, Joe texts. He texts me. He's like, "I'm 10 minutes away." I'm like, "All right, cool." Because if he just shows up, it's intrusive because you're in the middle of something. So I'll know. I know. Get the forklift ready. Get the check ready.
They do that with Roberts too now.
Get the van out of the way.
Helps Joe too.
Yeah. It just look, when you have a rapport with the guys that you work with or delivered to you on a regular basis, it's just nicer than not knowing the guy. That guy's coming again. You know? If you can have a relationship with the people you deal with all the time, it's just makes life so much easier.
Like Alan, our UPS guy.
Yeah, he's got my personal phone number.
It's funny, you guys are like that. I'm slowly getting that way with my UPS and FedEx guy because my property is a house up front, so sometimes it gets delivered up there. Now, okay, pick the truck on, go down, or get the wagon. Now I'm like, I'm down here 150. If it says CT Woodwork, if it's the other so and so lady up front, that's her spot. Okay. Yesterday, I had to deliver a day bed to her house up front because they delivered it right in front of my door. I'm like, what the hell is this? So,
you gotta get that forklift.
Gotta get that fork. No, I don't think I'm going to a tractor. Like by the property, a big ass John Deere tractor
with forks,
with forks, lawnmower, snow blower, everything. And that's the most That's more. I was like, oh, forklift's cheaper, but
John Deere though, you probably gotta go Japanese,
Komatsu or whatever they're called.
Kubota, I would consider too. Our buddies Royal, they have a Kubota.
Kubota, yeah.
I'd go Kubota or John Deere.
You got to get the bigger one than they do what Greg and them have.
Yeah, I think theirs lives 1,100 pounds. I'm going for about 3,000.
Oh yeah, 1,100's not enough.
Yeah,
3,000.
3,000. That's even
2,500, 3,000.
We got that 5,000 pound forklift. When I picked up that stack of friggin' 40 sheets of plywood the other day, I was like, this feels heavy.
Or you know what I was
because you just picked up 4,000 pounds.
Yeah,
I was looking at those. You see them, the articulated mini loaders.
Is it like
it's
a telehandler? It's like a
European thing. It's like almost like a mini telehandler meets like a Bobcat meets a tractor. And the large one I looked up, I sent it to Rob. It can lift like 5,000 pounds.
Wow!
And it's not much bigger than like a forklift, but it's nice. You can get into compact places and stuff.
Telehandlers are cool.
Yeah.
The guys, the landscaping guys, across from the old shop, they had a little one, and they helped us load up the planer and the shaper when they got delivered to the old shop.
They're just not cheap machines.
In the snow. Yeah, theirs was like a JCB, probably it had to be like 100 grand.
Like Cremona's.
Yeah, we had them at work too. They were great. They were awesome.
Just a big machine.
He's got a big one. Yeah,
that's the tough thing. I need something. You have to manually unload everything here at the shop.
Yeah, just wait till you buy that house, and you'll think all the stuff that you need to support the property is.
You had to build an addition where the barn door is that just has curtain sides or something where you can just put the lumber and then you can open it from the inside and just pull the boards into the shop.
That or just have a big shed, just you put all in there right up to the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we have now. One shed full of lumber already right now.
Yeah. You need to have another lumber sale.
I'm adding up this. I'm adding it all up now.
I know the shop. We've been talking. The shop needs a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like one spot, this goes right through the wall inside. Just because it's all T111 that's been up for surpassed its lifetime of 30 years, so it's gone. And there's no gutters, so all the eaves underneath, the water goes underneath, that's all rotted.
And that's 30 years if you paint it every 5 years.
Yeah, it hasn't been painted in who knows when.
Yeah.
All the overgrowth, the bushes haven't been maintained in 10, 15 years, so there's vines, and that's got to be all ripped out. So I got my work ahead as long as I can get the place.
It's the ground. It's the ground that's worth the money.
Yeah.
Yep.
2 acres.
You'll never go wrong if you can get it.
It's just that hefty price tag.
Yeah, well, you're looking at that anywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah.
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 You're a
Unless
young
leaving the
man.
island.
Remember what we told you we're paying for rent here? And then we're also both paying mortgages. So
Yeah, I know.
You can put a cot up in the shop.
I have that loft.
He's
That's
got
what
that
my
loft.
plan was.
oh, and just rent out the house. Is there 2 houses or one?
One house.
Yeah.
Or I was thinking if the lady up front doesn't stay there, our buddy Matt was interested in going there. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll finish. There's an unfinished attic that's a walk-in. So I'm like, I'll finish that, make my bathroom master suite up there. I'll up there. You have the whole first floor to yourself.
Mhm.
Then we both work real well together. We're good friends, and just do that. I'm like, good. I can't see. I mean, I love as much as having a loft in the shop. I just
No,
can't see
you
that
don't.
happen.
No, you don't want to.
Then you can never escape your work.
Yeah.
I would
Even
have
if
to
it's
get-
only 100 yards
So
away.
now it's like now I'm get the house. I'm like, why do you want to get one of those gators to drive down my little cup of coffee and throwing down the driveway? No,
Just,
beautiful piece of property. I can't wait to see if it works out.
and we're rooting for you.
Yeah, well, now you're going to have a meeting this coming week.
This week to see the price. Hopefully, cross my fingers. The price, is what I could afford and what I can go with.
Do you think you could negotiate a deal? If
Probably
everything-
negotiate a deal. Hopefully, I mean, she's willing to work with me, and I'm kind of like her. I feel like her second, like a lost son. I go to her house, I take care of some stuff in her house. She helps me out. I help her out a lot in the shop and stuff, fix things, maintain stuff. Guy doesn't cut the lawn, I'll cut around the lawn, around the property, so we can, get in and out. Help the lady up front. My dad helped the lady up front fix the sink that was leaking. So we've helped a lot.
Well, if we got to make any threats or anything, just let us know.
Yeah, if somebody's got to disappear, let me know.
It's like everybody's like, oh.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Everybody's like, oh, you're gonna mow the lawn? I said, absolutely. Just get some tunage and get one of those zero-turn right-on mowers and just do the lawn and everything. And I don't mind doing any of that stuff.
No, that's what home ownership's all about.
And it's a nice neighborhood. It's quiet. And the neighbor next door, I'm starting to be good friends with because they're friends with my dad's old boss. So it's kind of nice, quiet neighborhood.
that the lady we did the table for? We
to refinish the table for, yeah.
It is. It's a nice little piece of paradise
And
back
it's
in
convenient location to all the stores, to the Sunrise Highway. It's just in the perfect location.
Yeah. You can't beat it. It's just a nice place to work too.
Yeah.
It's got that real, everybody takes a class. This is a real wood shop.
Yeah, it's all woodsy.
Especially in the wintertime when you get the wood stove going, it's like,
Oh, yeah, you get the smell.
the smell and everything. It's like the perfect place,
It'll work out. I have a good feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Keeping our fingers crossed for you.
It's the stressful part of my life right now.
The hardest thing you'll ever do in your life is buy a house.
Yeah. And then I'm like, well, I don't know
stressful
anything. I
thing.
never bought a house before. So I don't know what to ask for this. So I'm like, have my parents help me because they know at least they bought a house.
Yeah.
So
Usually you get an inspection.
Yeah.
I got to do that.
Then you go back and forth again.
Back
You
and
say,
forth with the
well,
mortgage
you're going to have to
company.
fix this. You're going to have to fix that.
Inspector,
Gotta get an appraisal.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, all that stuff.
Yeah, because the bank, like, let's say she wants $1 million for it.
If the bank appraises it at 800,
You can't
you
get
can't
the
get a
loan.
mortgage
Yeah.
rate.
Yeah, I know.
And then some people can get stubborn.
Yeah. And then they'll say, well, you got to come up with $200K cash. Like, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, wait, let me go to my piggy bank under the pillow.
Piggy bank.
Yeah.
Let me just
Oh,
move the
man.
mattress over.
Yeah, prices on real estate are going crazy.
It's
There
crazy.
was something on a friend of mine posted on Facebook. It was a 600 square foot house on Long Island.
Oh,
with
yeah.
with a nothing property, and it was going for
400 grand.
400 grand. 600
We have-
square feet house.
We have friends of ours by us who's selling the house. It's a nice house, $800,000. 15 grand
Crazy.
in
It's that
taxes
Long
a year.
Island thing.
That Long Island thing.
They say it's one of the hardest places to live in the whole country.
One of the most expensive, that's for sure.
Expensive.
My house is worth like almost 50% more than it's worth when I bought it.
Yeah.
And that's just, I haven't even done anything to it. You know, it's just the nature
crazy.
of, yeah.
It's just property values around here. They're building all these townhouses and
by us, that's
things
huge.
like that. And the prices that they're asking for those places are like double what we paid for the house.
Yeah. They're like, townhome starting at $485,000. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go buy an apartment.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Even apartments on Long Island are insane. You have to pay.
Yeah, that's why my daughter hasn't moved out. She wants to move out, but she's like, I ain't got $2,500 a month, $2,000 a month for an apartment between just starting the business and the whole 9 yards. So she's still home.
Is her business located on Long Island?
Yeah, it's on Long Island. She does facials. She opened up a business about 6 months ago.
I remember you telling us about that at
So
Hateful.
she's doing okay.
Hey, how'd you make out with those biscotti? I was reading the little bit of drama there in your comments.
The guy nothing. His whole thing was, we made a mistake. So make a mistake and send me another bag.
Yeah.
I hope I see that guy someplace again at another street fair because I'm
He's
going to
like,
blow
you
him
could
up.
drive it on out to us.
Yeah.
And we'll give you a refund as long as they're not broken up.
Yeah, I should drive an hour because the store is up in Calverton. I guess I'm like, so I should spend like 3 hours of my day to go get back $13. No, how about you just send me another bag?
Plus gas.
Yeah, I'm like, never heard anything.
Calverton's a nice ride, but still, that's for a box of cookies.
Did they at least taste good?
Yeah, the ironic thing is he had chocolate ones also. These are like the cranberry something one. My wife tasted it's like they're really good. She's like, try these chocolate ones. So I tried. I'm like, okay. So my wife wanted the cran. I'm like, all right, just get it. I didn't realize they were $13 a bag. I'm like, all right, I'll forget the chocolate ones for now at $13 a bag.
Yeah, spend $30 with tax on freaking cookies.
So and then we get home and they're sitting in the closet. And I'm like, it says 123 on it. I'm like, what the?
That's a long time.
So I call up.
And I'm calling BS because biscotti's not going to last. Let's say it was actually supposed to be 124. Biscotti doesn't last 6 months.
Exactly.
Right.
So I call up thinking I'm just going to get some, supposedly the owner answered the phone. He's like, oh, no, we made a mistake tagging him. I don't care if you made a mistake. He's telling me, oh, you got to trust me. You got to trust me. First of all, I don't trust nobody, okay, except people I know, and I don't know you. So how about you just send me another bag and the conversation is over? No. So I says, you know what? I don't have a whole lot of followers on Instagram and Facebook, but I'm like, I'm putting this out there just for whoever. And my daughter's like, oh, make sure you tag them in the thing. And that's when, I forgot about that. And that's when the guy texted me back.
The response sounded like it was from like a bot almost. Like it was very zero personal touch at all, which when you're in business and something happens with a client, that's when you have to go full personal,
Exactly.
It sounded like it was written by AI or something.
Like if he would have just said to me, oh, we screwed up. Let me have your address. I'll send you another bag out. Conversation would have been over. And I'd be like,
it's
okay.
a bag of cookies. How much is it going to be a loss to them?
Exactly.
Nothing.
Yeah. What did it cost? $5 to make?
$5 to make?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all I was looking for. Give me another bag with the proper date on it because I don't believe you.
And you go walk away. You're done.
And then I would have been like, oh, I bought these cookies. There was a mistake and the guy sent me another bag. But no, So I hope I'm at another street fair and they're there and I'm going to blow the guy up.
And even if it was a mistake and that they were supposed to be 120, he still should have sent you another bag.
Exactly.
Because when you own a business, you have
That's
to
what you
cover
do.
your ass.
Exactly. So what if I was that influencer that had 1 million followers?
Mm-hmm.
Then what would you do?
Put them out of business.
A couple of weeks ago, my wife stopped at Houlihan's and got some takeout. And she got like this fried shrimp dinner. It was supposed to come with mashed potatoes and green beans. And they didn't give her the mashed potatoes. So she calls up and she speaks to the manager. And the manager sends us a complimentary thing to come to get an appetizer.
But that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You're supposed to,
Exactly.
if you're in business, look, if you guys, we're all done. If something happens and you do something, you fix it.
Exactly.
You don't go to the customer, oh no, it's okay. No, you go fix the problem.
Right.
That's
Like the barn doors that we built.
Yeah.
There was a material failure,
Yeah.
and now we have to build brand new barn doors. We could have said, well, we have to build them differently now, and it's going to cost more money, and we got to charge you the balance, and
We just did it.
yeah,
No,
It's the way it goes.
It's the way it goes.
She trusted us.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. You have a relationship with a customer, and you just look. Is the always saying? Maybe it's not always true, but the customer's always right. And a lot of times they're not always right, and I get that.
If they're not, you have to pretend they are.
Yes,
Yes. That's the truth.
but the thing is, I'm not asking you for $1 million. I'm asking you for a $10 bag of cookies.
Exactly, and that's the whole thing. Like with the guy from Houlihan's, they left out a $2 thing of mashed potatoes. They sent us a thing that could be like a $12 or $15. But you know what? We're going back to Houlihan's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other way is we're never going back to Houlihan's.
Exactly. So so that guy is very smart.
It's smart business.
Yeah.
We give them a $10 appetizer. He's going to spend $60 or $70 coming for dinner.
Exactly.
So what is,
I mean, we had dinner one time at a place. We took takeout, and they forgot the same potatoes and some corn thing. I was like, "Oh, where are you guys local?" It's like, "Yeah, I'll have the delivery guy deliver to you, and we'll give you a complimentary free dinner." I'm like, okay, I'm like that's a good business guy.
Yeah.
that's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not go, oh, trust me.
Yeah. When you make a mistake, you got to double down.
A bag of cookies too. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. It was funny. And I got off the phone and I was like,
Did that
kidding
just
me?
happen?
My wife is like, what happened? I'm like, the guy told me I should trust him. So it's a mistake. So that tells me you knew it was a mistake
Mhm.
and you should have fixed it before it left the factory.
Right. Yeah. I mean, how do you let it go if you already knew it was a mistake?
It was 123, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it was probably supposed to be 1123.
No, he said it was supposed to be 124.
Oh.
But the point is,
What kind of preservatives they got in there? Those
Yeah.
cookies are lasting 4
Yeah.
months.
but the
I know
point
biscotti is pretty hard already, but
if you know
Twice
if you
cooked.
knew it was a mistake, why didn't you fix it?
And how many other
Before.
people have bought those and they're going to be complaining about it? You got to fix that right
yeah,
away.
and it was it like one of those stickers off like a
Yeah,
sticker?
the
Yes.
sticker machine.
Yeah. Just put a new one on there. You sent the dude out to the farmer's market that morning,
Exactly. It was just it was comical, and I was like,
No, in the worst case, you get sick from it, then you sue them.
Yeah.
yeah, So it was just comical, but I was like annoyed, and I even sent another message back. Like, all I wanted was another bag of goddamn cookies. And that would have solved the whole problem, not
Yeah.
your whole explanation. But whatever.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah,
So hopefully these cookies don't kill me.
But it was just, it was like a little farmer's market up in like Wading River. She wanted to go out, so we walked around. It was a bust. I met one of the guys from Instagram that we both know. He's been at the shop a couple of times.
Nick?
yeah,
NJ Woodcraft?
NJ Wood. Yeah, he was there
he's
selling
good.
some stuff.
He
So
sells a
sitting
lot of
there,
stuff in Greenport at the fairs.
so sitting there talking with him, and
Jersey guys infiltrating Long Island?
No, that's his name. His initials.
no,
initials.
his initials, NJ something.
Woodcraft.
Yeah, he's so
Really
sitting
cool
there
guy.
talking.
He's
yeah.
a teacher, I think. And he's
He's
a
a
tech
teacher.
teacher.
Yeah. So I was sitting there talking with him, but it was like, it was a total bust though. I'm like, all right, let's get out of here and go someplace else. But it was just, one of those things. But what are you going to do?
Cookies.
Yeah.
Just over cookies.
Yeah. Like, really?
I tell you.
Go for some Tate's cookies.
Oh, you like those Tates, those thin ones? Huh?
Yeah, we drove by, maybe not the factory, but they're in where?
That's their main bakery. If you go to there, though, they have a lot of other options.
Yeah. What's the
make
town again?
East Hampton.
Oh, is it East Hampton? Where's the town with the big duck?
That's
Flanders?
Flanders.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. They have a lot of duck farms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
famous wood.
Famous duck.
Yeah. We cut through Flanders one day when we, we would get off of Sunrise sometimes before we hit that big.
111 Manorville.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Stuff off of the LAE
Yeah,
and you
come
go
down.
across. That's the major crossway.
Yeah. But sometimes we would usually we would go all the way, get to Montauk Highway, and then just get to Bridgehampton. But
Yeah.
sometimes we would get off of Sunrise earlier.
Mhm.
That way, we missed all that contractor traffic. So we'd take all these crazy back roads.
Back
it would take
roads.
like just as long.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think I'd rather just sit in the
You guess
traffic.
you could, right? You could take the North Shore and take the pain in the ass to take the ferry from Shelter Island over.
Yeah,
It's
but
a lot
then
of work.
it's not worth it.
When we left the house in East Hampton, was it East Hampton? We went to the house in Sag Harbor, and then we went out to that other big house.
Yeah.
No service.
Oh yeah, it's
Had
bad out
no
there.
friggin' idea
Yeah,
how to get
I know.
anywhere.
Yeah.
We took these road. It was like take
one
the
lane,
Hampton
no stripe.
Highway, and it's like a dirt road like this wide. I'm
Yeah,
like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
My brother, he works for the county for he does the new wastewater treatment things for your new system for your house, and he's out there. GPS, okay, it says turn right, and then that's it. And he's like, oh shit, where do I? So now he's got to take out a paper map and look it up.
Yeah.
Like you figured in the Hamptons there'd be service everywhere.
No, you know why? Because they don't want to see the
They
big
don't
towers.
want the tower.
Well,
That's
they
the
have,
biggest
what,
thing
they have
right
satellite
now.
phones?
The biggest thing right out there now is the wind turbines.
Yeah.
They don't want to
Yeah.
see them.
Yep.
Even though they're going to be 3-4 miles out and short. Oh, I don't want to see that. You're never going to see it.
I tell you.
Same thing here because they're talking about putting them out here.
It's a
And-
whole different world out
Yeah, they had their own entity, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And all the people that can have the bird's eye view, or potentially, are all the folks with the most cash and the most pull. They're the
Yeah,
people with the
yeah.
waterfront property.
Yeah, they own the businesses that build those and,
Build those, I
and
mean-
Yeah.
lobby the government.
Have all the political connections.
Yeah.
You know.
We're lucky. Our Hamptons client is great. They're fantastic.
there.
people.
I did a job out there. They were really nice. They had a house in the city and in the Hamptons. We built a liquor cabinet for them, and then we built that little table with the little banquette, the white one. It's just a pain to get out
Yeah, until after Labor Day, it's just
there. And
a
then you got
disaster.
to make sure you do the speed limit out there. They take
Yeah.
big time out there.
Yeah, we've been pretty lucky with that.
As soon as you
Yeah.
get the end of the sunrise and it goes 30, if you go a little over in some spots, there's a cop right there. They'll take you.
Yeah, well, I had to do a delivery one time with Bobby. We went out of Dune Road dropping some stuff off, and he's like, "Do not speed down Dune Road." And he was right. There were cops everywhere. I was like, "What?" I mean, there's like it's like a 20-mile-an-hour
and
road.
I think out there you have to like go. You can't like anything's
Oh,
through
you
the
gotta
mail
go
with
to
your
court.
ticket.
Yeah,
you have to
you
go
gotta go to
out there
court.
to court.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Imagine you guys getting a ticket. That would ruin it.
Yeah. Yeah, we were planning on getting out there to do those doors, but now it is going to be after Labor Day.
Yeah.
Unless we shoot out there Friday or something. No, we can't. We got
John.
You're not going out there this weekend.
We
It's
got-
Labor Day weekend.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's
we
the
got
worst
too much
time to
going
get
on
out
anyway.
there.
We got so much shit we got to finish. We deliver the vanity, and the same builder we're doing another job for. He's like, "When are you gonna be done with those other cabinets?" I'm like,
We didn't start him yet.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
hate
like,
when that
oh.
happens.
Like we have to assemble all the cabinets and make all the doors, but aside from
You're
that-
only two guys. You can only do like I tell everybody
Yeah.
in my shop. I'm one guy, but your help, you can only do so
So
much.
much.
yeah.
Now, how much time is the podcast, the YouTube channel taking up now a week?
Maybe 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're losing a half a day basically.
Yeah,
And John does all the editing, and you guys
Yeah.
do basically the presentation.
yeah, yeah. So he was here for about 3.5 hours today. Come back Friday. So varies. Yeah, I guess last week it was more than half a day.
Yeah.
Seems like the numbers are going up pretty good though.
Yeah, yeah. The Instagram is kind of slow.
What about the YouTube? Seems to be-
Yeah, I think we're closing in on like maybe 3,000 subs.
Good.
Yeah. The last video we did has had pretty good.
the milling one.
The milling
that was
one?
a pretty good one.
Yeah, got 2.3 thousand views.
Shelf pin one looks like that. They got the most.
Yeah,
56.
that's because that was like from John's channel. It was like,
Oh,
if you want to enter the giveaway, go leave a comment
yeah,
on
that's
it.
why.
okay.
Yeah.
You know, I saw this other guy, this other company is called like Fun Factory Woodwork or something like that. And he said, "Look at this thing we're going to be doing in all our cabinets now." And it was the shelf pin sleeves.
I've seen that guy.
And that came out after ours, so I couldn't help but be a little suspicious.
Could be. I
Yeah,
think he might
could
be in
be.
New Jersey too.
I got to do that miter saw stand for that miter saw we had in the shop. It just sits there. I have an old Hitachi at 8.5, the really nice Japanese one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm like, it's been sitting there. I want to use it so bad, but I want. You know what? I saw the video. I'm like, I'm gonna do that. Just get the Harbor Freight thing.
It works nice. Rob
Yeah.
cut up all that maple with it the other day.
yeah.
Because I was gonna make the thing with the leaves that pop up with the wings. I'm like, that's so much faster.
And
Yeah.
they hide away,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that was my initial thought. I've done those where it's like plywood with
the wings.
brace.
You lift it up and you flop it out.
But then it's always in the way.
Yeah.
But that's now at least portable. You can bring that on a job site. No, not that one. That's the other one. But you can roll it around and go wherever you want. Yeah, it makes it nice and easy.
When I get the radial arm saw, that'll be the breakdown.
That giant anchor we got in the shop now?
It's sentimental. That's
I know. I'm just busting your chops.
Yeah,
but it probably weighs about 100 pounds.
Oh, how hell that was to get out of a basement.
I could imagine.
Door. It's got to weigh at least 200-300 pounds.
Oh,
that's a Craftsman 10-inch, and it's as old as my dad. He bought it the day my dad was supposed to be born.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. 10-inch radial.
10-inch radial, 110 or 220. Everything he put new bearings in it. He did everything. It's a good solid saw. And a Craftsman drill press. I'm gonna set that up for metal working. And then
you got that little bandsaw.
Bandsaw I found on Amazon. I can get metal cutting blades for that from Amazon PowerTech. So I'm like, that'll be my brass aluminum if I want to do bow ties or something. And the scroll saw is better than the one I have. So go from there. The only thing I have the table saw I don't want to do with that. The Craftsman contractor. I use some of his tools. I have them in the toolbox. And take the hand plane out, or you take the old all metal Milwaukee hole shooter out, the drill holes. I'm like, I'll just take that out today.
You got to keep sentimental stuff like that. It's like with all the stuff going on with my parents. My father's got he had an old block plane, Stanley block plane. I made sure I took it. None of my brothers are going to want it, and they'll never use it. So now my attitude is it's just going to go to my grandson.
Is it one of those Stanley Handymans? They had the Handyman series.
Is it the knuckle one? The knuckle?
No. This is an actual. What is it? It's 60 and a half. 60 and a half. So I just got to clean it up a little bit. But I go to the grandson.
Nice.
I have a few of my dad's tools. My father, he had an old. I don't even know who it's made by, but it was like a leather handled hammer that he did all the work in the house with. Just a regular claw hammer.
Like an S-wing?
Yeah, but it's it's not an S-wing. I don't know, but like that's what I remember him as a kid always having. Mm-hmm. And I guess about 5 years ago, my mother's like, take the hammer with you.
I remember like the hammer my dad, and he still got it, but it's like a black rubber handle, but it's ingrained in my head. And the screwdriver, there's this I know the flat screwdriver and the Phillips head, they're different. Mm-hmm. It's crazy how you remember that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I had to have the hammer. I'm like, he's like, he's never going to use it. I'm like, give me the hammer, and I actually use it. It just doesn't sit there. I use it when I need to, but it's just, it's one of those things that's from my father that I remember as a kid. That's, he used it all the time. So that's mine.
Yeah, it'll end up in a box somewhere, if you don't take it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, a lot of stuff is just going to go by the wayside at some point when it has to. And, as I told my mother, I said, there's nothing really here that I want. The couple of things that I did want, I have. And that's, we find a few other things along the way, that's fine. But, for the most part, I have the couple of things that I wanted.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of our stuff winds up in black plastic bags.
Bags in the garbage, or it goes to, charity or something. That's what I did with
it. Yeah. That's like my mom's got her mother's hope chest up at the house. And I saw it, and I thought I was going to be able to maybe fix it. I don't think I'm going to be able to fix it. I'm going to bring it home and I'll bring it to the shop because it was all veneered at some point and all the veneer is coming off it. But I'm figuring all of the cedar that was in it is still good. So I think I'm just going to make all of my nieces and my daughters like boxes out of the cedar. Yeah. This way they have a piece of that, so
that's reuse and repurpose it.
Yeah. I don't want to throw it away, but if I can like kind of make some little boxes for everybody, it would be kind of cool. So they can say they had a piece of great grandma's, hope chest or whatever. So just little things like that. And my one niece I know will be like the one I made all the vases for. Yeah. She'll flip out over that. She'll be like, oh, this is great grandma. Yeah. She flipped out over the vases.
Yeah, the vases were awesome.
I saw you, freaking drilling those things.
That's why you got that drill press.
That's why I got the new one. I probably will make another vase now for 6 months.
That's how it goes. You buy a new tool for one thing, and then it just sits there and collects dust.
But I'll use it for other stuff. But yeah, it wound up being like 24 vases.
Wow.
And she got she's going to incorporate them into the centerpieces for the wedding next month.
That's cool.
Nice.
And it was ironic. She saw one, and my other niece saw one the day they brought them down. I'm like, well, take them now before there's a problem, and just tell me how many more I got to make. Because if those are the ones you want, take them. So, but yeah, she liked them all. She was very happy about it.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the one you made for me.
Really the one I gave you.
It was a piece of firewood, curly maple fire. I'm like, I'm gonna save this to make a bowl. And I'm like, you know what? You're making the vase. Can you make one for me? Oh yeah. And it's cool. It's figure and it's nice.
Yeah, it's got a lot of figure in that. That's really cool. And the shape of it was just
that's just
kind of the way it worked out. Because the piece was really weird looking, and by the time I got it kind of round, and I'm like, what am I? And that just came out of it. And I think it just fit the piece of wood too with all the grain in it. You know, so Joe Botch is like, oh, you should dye it. I'm like, no, I'm not dyeing it. I'm leaving it the way it is. But yeah, that was a cool piece too. I like that one.
Yeah, when you turn and you really have to go with what comes out sometimes.
Yeah, the wood tells you what to do.
Yeah, you kind of have an idea of what you want to do, but, you know, if something happens, you know, you blow a chunk out, it doesn't, you know, as we always say in turning, it's just a design change.
I haven't turned a whole lot, but like, you know, I'll be turning, and then you like start sanding, and you turn the lathe off, and you're like, I have all this tear out, and you're like, well, it looks like we're going deeper.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, that's what happens. You know,
dimensions have changed.
Yeah. It's you wouldn't be the first person that did it. Like, I think my first bowl I started out, it was like a 10-inch piece of wood. I think by the time I was done, it was about 5.
The ashtray.
You know, it's just, you know, like you said, you tear out, you this, you that, you make a mistake, you go, oh, crap, you know, you think, and it's always like when you're just about done, you go, oh, let me take this last piece, you know, pass it to, and and that's when you tear something apart, and you're like, all right, we'll start over again.
I would do it on like the chamfer, like, you know, if we're like turning like a leg and it's got a chamfer on either end or one end. For some reason, probably just bad technique, you know, I would end up with a lot of tear out around the thing. I'm like, oh, great.
That's what happened with the legs that we did.
We're doing turning, yeah.
And I found out I was doing something. You got to go from the square end into the round part. That's how you prevent the tear out from coming up. And I was coming up the other way. So, but I found that out. So just for the next time,
and having sharp tools.
Yeah, sharp tools definitely help.
Tools.
Yeah, well, we just have a cheap carbide set. You know, it's got a roughing, round roughing
detail.
And turn the speed up.
Well, we got one speed, and it's
not too fast.
Yeah, probably not. So that little Excalibur.
Yeah.
Keith gave it to us.
Yeah, I mean the motor's about the size of this soda can.
Yeah, that's the one thing I didn't. When I went to the meeting the other day, they were talking about it. They're like, just turn the speed up, turn as fast as you can without it getting too crazy. I'm like, okay.
Hey, we used that lathe on our makers swap projects.
Yeah, we're gonna get put in those R2D2 tables that we have.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, they're flat pack, so it'll be easy for somebody to take
them home.
Yeah.
I wonder who's gonna win Keith.
That
toolbox is coming out real nice.
Yeah, he was having some issues with his box joints. I think he finally got past it, but he's having some slop in his setup that was giving him a lot of trouble.
I'm gonna make a keepsake box. All the veneer we got.
You think we got enough veneer?
Or another clock I might do.
Riffs on Ash keepsake box.
Yeah. Cocobolo.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Cocobolo with a curly maple I got.
Curly maple. You got a ton of that.
The clock was a big hit though last year.
That was the first
one. Was that the year before?
That's Keith Too Big got that.
He did.
Yeah. Last year,
the friggin' Anvil bandsaw box was shit. That was cool.
And I never heard back from the guy who got it.
Really?
Yeah, never.
Do you know who it was?
I don't know who it was. But I never heard back from that guy.
That sucks. What the hell did I win? Oh, Dave Bauer's bandsaw box. My son, it's in his room.
Yeah, the Anvil box was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool last year. And Keith even said to me last year when we were talking, it's like, oh, everybody thought that thing was cool. And he even said a couple of people were like, I hope I get that. But whatever. Look,
I won the most infamous gift of the whole event.
Yeah. Laser cut acrylic keychain.
You know, I haven't still mounted that thing.
Yeah, I don't know what you're waiting
anywhere on the shop. I'm like, what?
Oh yeah, didn't you win that forged?
Everybody wanted that thing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's like
still sitting in a box in my office in my shop.
A couple $1,000, I think. Yeah. If you were like to buy that,
I got to put it in the right spot.
Yeah, it's like one of those plants.
Picture plants with fangs.
Picture plant, yeah.
That was a pretty cool piece.
Yeah.
With the hanger for the wall and everything.
Yeah. What's her name? Leah Patriot or something like that? Yeah.
That was pretty cool, that piece. that was like the piece everybody wanted. I think a lot of people wanted that year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it was cool. I'd like to win like a knife or a hammer.
Yeah.
Something like
A
that.
tool.
Something like, yeah,
Cool,
something I
or
could
a marking
use.
knife would be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I got a mallet last year from Jeremy Spiess.
Oh, yeah. I've seen
it's
this.
it's a walnut handle with like a curly maple head.
Mhm.
I'm like, I can't use this. It's too nice.
Yeah. I'm like, a lot of people make those joiners mallets, but I have no use for that kind of mallet. You know?
Is that like
Yeah.
the big mallet with the
Yeah.
wooden head?
Ironically, I made that brass mallet that I made you too,
Those
Corey.
nice.
That's all I use now. Is that little brass headed mallet because it fits right in my hand.
Yep, and you can put it down really easy.
Yeah.
I have a Veritas one that I use, and that's that same style. And then I use the rubber and plastic head holder mallet. You know, even
Okay.
for chisels, a lot of times if I'm just doing some quick stuff, that red side works great.
I like those little brass.
The brass one I like. The little mallet. The one I made from a piece of fire was a red oak. I turned to a little mallet.
Yeah.
Or just take one of the swing bed blows out.
Yeah, I got a brass, another one. It's like a 2-sided head. I bought when we went to that infamous woodworking show.
That show sucked big time.
But I'm gonna try and do that.
I have this actually. Last year I made an awl, and then I turned the handle, and I was working on this. I forged that down into like a flathead screwdriver.
Cool.
I was thinking about maybe I'll just make something for myself. Just a flathead screwdriver, you know?
Yeah.
Test yourself. Make a posi drive.
It's a little too sharp. You know, I have to like upset the end or something to get
Yeah.
it. Maybe like a chip breaker screwdriver or something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get Tony from Woodland to give me a hand. I'd like to make like an awl or something. If he's in the blacksmithing tent this year.
Definitely want to get into that tent.
This is that wood that I use. Imagine turning that.
What the hell is it?
It's from Australia, from our buddy Colin. It's Yara, I think, something like that.
That's heavy.
Yeah. I didn't even put finish on it. I sanded it to like 1,000 or 2,000, and it was shinier than anything I've ever made.
Yeah.
Looks like Ipe.
Yeah, but that's not Ipe.
No.
It's harder than
It's even
eBay.
hot, and it's heavier than Ipe.
Mm-hmm.
I've dealt with a lot of Ipe.
But it made a nice handle.
Oh,
bet
yeah. I
it
guess
did.
they're polished up nice because
Yeah.
of the density.
So I got enough for a couple screwdrivers there for sure.
Yeah, that's like I used a piece of ebony one time to make a pen, and I just polished it all the way up because you can't, I don't know, I went to like 12 or 1,500 on
Mm-hmm.
cleaned it up, and it shined.
Yeah.
It's just, I ain't using too much of that. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
The little piece
Roberts has a sale on ebony.
yeah, the little piece I bought cost me like $25. It was like a 1x2 by a foot long.
Yeah.
Was it like the black ebony?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not Madagascar ebony.
no, this is real ebony. I was doing
Macassar.
It's ebony.
I was doing the tool holder, the plane holder I have. I wanted to put some green plugs in it, and I said, if I'm going to do this, let me go get the ebony. And I went up to the place up in Northport and bought a piece. And luckily, he had a little piece because I'm like, I'm not buying a giant piece of ebony.
Did you pillow them?
Yeah,
How'd you do it?
I just kind of sanded them a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, I didn't get too crazy with it, but it came out all right. It was just something I was trying to mess with.
Guy William Eng has a good technique where you chuck up, you cut a blank, whatever, 5/16 by 5/16 or whatever, 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch, whatever size you have a hollow mortise chisel, and chuck it up in the drill and have a couple different types of sandpaper on like a piece of foam and just run it into there and you get a real nice pillow.
Yeah, it's. I think I've seen that. I think maybe when I was
Yeah.
doing that, I might have watched that.
So you do the end, then cut it
Cut it
off,
off.
and then do
Yeah.
it again.
It was just something I wanted to try, and I'm like, well, I'll try this. And I don't even think I brought it to the show. Actually, no, I think I did bring it to the show one time when we were still up at the barn, and that was it. Nobody.
Speaking of ebony, I was trying to get Afro Bob. He made this like gooseneck chair, the figured Bobinga seat in the back. I think he was using maybe Sapili or maybe Sipo, and it goes out like this. It's got wings, curly maple wings with little ebony plugs. But you need an eye there. It looks like, but if you put the eye there, it looks like a real bird. Oh, yeah, I might do that, might not do that. So I'm like, need ebony. Well, I'm not going to pay for ebony. I have African blackwood, which is just as black as ebony.
Yeah.
And use that. Oh, I'll think about it.
We have a bunch of Macassar ebony veneer. I'm thinking about making a light fixture for my kitchen when I finally finish it, like a modern kind of like long, skinny, like maybe 4 inches by 36 inches or something. Maybe make it so that the light shines through the veneer. I don't know how much will actually go through,
but at least it'll light it up a little bit.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
And have it shine down. Use some Hayfla. Shameless plug. We still have our lighting stuff.
I still have it in the back, the bag at my
Still got it home too in the basement. Like, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah, we got to hang up those motion lights that we have. We have one in that little vestibule. That's nice because when you walk in, it turns on. I've only charged it once.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Find a place to put that.
We wound up getting 2 of them.
I think I'm going to put it in the shed outside.
Yeah, that's where you should put it.
That's a good idea.
Where the hell am I? Because I always take the big Ryobi light and I'm doing this, and then the Ryobi light falls, and I'm trying to do that.
That would be a good place. Put them right in the shed.
I got to get more motion sensors. It's always dark.
Well, you shouldn't be out there at night anyway. You should be home by the time it gets dark.
Could be a class.
Well, we're at 3 hours and 9 minutes. Have you guys had enough?
Yeah, good. So. I'm good. I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
You guys have anything that you would like to plug? Any place you'd like to send anybody? Any messages you'd like to send across the airwaves?
The only plug I can say is Corey and I both belong to the Long Island Woodworkers Club, and our annual show is next weekend at the Cradle of Aviation.
In what is that, Garden City?
Garden City. If you're in the island and got nothing to do,
definitely check it out.
Come check us out. And it also, the admission gets you admission to the museum.
And it's a really nice museum. It's good for kids and older people and everything.
What are the dates?
It's Saturday and Sunday. Next Saturday, Sunday.
That's the
8th or 9th and 10th, I think.
No, 1 second.
Cradle of Aviation
9th
Museum.
and 10th.
Yeah, so it's a big aircraft. And they
9th
also
and 10th.
have, next door is
September.
They have a carousel. Next door is a children's museum. They have a firehouse museum. So it's a really good place to have it. And it's the main entryway is where we have our show. So there's going to be demos, a used tool sale. I'm going to be bringing my own booth, and I'm going to be selling stuff and using the Shape Origin to do demos. I'm doing a demo on making doors.
You're going to have the guitar pick stool there?
I have one of them, the SEPA one, I think. The one from the show, it's still in pieces. Never the time to get to it. That's how it is. It just sits there.
You don't have to explain it to us.
Yeah. We got things
it's
like that.
I like the chair. But after a while, I got that done. Okay, I'll do another project. It's good to do them, though. Because it gets your mind off of things, even if it's a couple hours a week you're doing it. It just helps a lot.
And Corey, what if somebody wants to take a class, et cetera, get in touch with you?
So if you're getting hold of me, you can go to my Instagram. There's a link on the link tree there to my website. It's just ct-woodwork.com. You go on the top menu to classes, and then there's all the information for the forms of different classes you want to do. You can contact me on there, email, or on through Instagram. If you want to do lessons, we can do lessons together. We discuss projects. Or if you want to get a project in your house done, contact me on there.
So what's your Instagram address?
CT Woodwork, one word.
Rob?
You can catch me on Instagram at robdemarco_063. I do some turning. If anybody wants something unusual, I can probably do it for you, but that's about it. I'm more of a hobbyist. I just do this for fun.
And profit.
Yeah,
when I can make a few bucks once in a while.
Getting some new tools.
And the accolades.
He wants to get a laser.
Yeah,
we might have one up for sale soon. We'll see.
We'll see if that fits in your shop.
The little
one.
Fitting
in the shop.
Take some measurements while you're here.
Oh, I got the room in the basement.
Oh, basement. Good luck moving that thing.
Yeah, that's why it ain't happening. But that's hopefully on just for something else to do.
Yeah.
Toy to play with.
It is fun. My wife's like, "Oh, can you make this thing?" I'm like, "It's cheaper to buy it." She sent me some stupid thing. She's like, "Oh, I thought maybe you could do it on the laser." I'm like, maybe some of it, but I still have to write the program to do it on the laser. I'm like, just buy it. It's $35.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just easier.
Like, don't you want me to finish the kitchen I've been working on? Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks to Corey and Rob for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Having us.
And this is the longevity record, I'm sure, this season.
Yeah, I think so.
See,
and this is episode...
I told you guys it's going to be the longest one.
49 of season 3. So we only got 3 episodes left of this season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We'll have to maybe come up with a new concept. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Let us know if you have any suggestions.
We're gonna have to go to beer of the week again for season 4.
I think you guys go back to that.
Yeah.
Or tool of the week.
I can't be drinking beer every week. That's the problem.
Gripe of the week.
Yeah.
Gripe of the week was good.
Yeah,
That was good.
All right. Thanks for listening.
everybody take care.
Take it easy.
As always, Rob and I thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. If you want to help support the podcast, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Again, we appreciate your support. Thanks for tuning in.